We have been having kind of a fun and enjoyable content marathon stream. It's been a blast. We did the push-up video. That was really fun. We did the stream this morning. We watched The Long Walk. We watched uh, Angel, 2 episodes. I talked about and provided why I love those episodes in the video, in the description, and now we're just hanging out. So once again, we're going to wait to see who joins. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. I was going to read some Masonic poems. I tried doing it earlier, but it was a pain in the butt. For some reason, it wasn't coming through the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to try to play them again in a moment, or recite them again in a moment. There's a few different ones I look forward to mailing, so... And let's give it a bit of time to see who joins. I'm going to read some Masonic poems shortly, and maybe we'll do a poll as to your favorite of the ones that I play. By the way, everybody keeps asking to see my cat. So I left a picture of Bandit in the community tab. Check that out. And for the time being, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'm 3 subscribers away from 3,730. So let's see what we can do. And let's give it a bit of time. Let's wait to see who joins. And please hit that like button and that subscribe button. I don't want to start reciting poetry yet. I want to see who finds us, who jumps on to say hello. So maybe what I'll do is mention some news that we have happening. I guess none of it good. Hello, Constantine Piguamo. Welcome. Thank you for being here. First of all, we have got gas prices. I mentioned this before. Once again, they are at 94-cent increase since February 28th. 94% increase. That is going to affect Freemasonry. As much as people might like to pretend it won't, it absolutely will. It makes things more expensive to visit. It makes things more expensive to attend. I'm going to be back in just 1 second. Just got to grab something quickly. My cat. Ignore the rattling wheelchair. I promise I'm working on it. My cat is being difficult. All right, put the name in again. I won't make any promises, but we'll see. What is Freemasonry? Freemasonry is a civic organization or a civic group that, yeah, but I can't play it while on my phone, right? At least, I don't know the technology to do it. It's a civic group or community group. It's basically a club that's been around for about 300 years. I'm a member of it, and I love talking about it. And I'm trying to turn my passion for it into a profession. Tell me about your Freemasonry. I like the way you put that, because my Freemasonry is different than the guy's Freemason next to me, just like my football will be different than the football of the guy next to me. My Freemasonry started when I was a kid because my dad is a Freemason. So I kind of grew up learning about it a little bit, seeing it. I love it. I joined 20 years ago. Mother Lodge is Windsor Lodge number 403. And then I'm a member of 5 additional Masonic lodges, including Windsor 403, Harmony 579, Border Cities 554. Then I am a member of a lodge in Tel Aviv, and I'm thinking about them right now as they are obviously under attack. I believe many rockets have hit, to my understanding, based on what I've seen. So I'm thinking of the lodge in Tel Aviv, and also I'm thinking of my brethren in Texas right now and all around the world. Anyone who's in harm's way. Um, yeah, but I didn't promise you when. I don't know if I'll be able to do it tonight or not. We shall see. Um, well, thank you, Eric Bobby, and it's great to have you here once again. And I hope you guys are doing well. Do I have? I do not know what a strabismus diplopia is. I can't even pronounce that. What does Freemasonry do? I mean, Freemasonry, ultimately, what Freemasons do is gather. The whole point of Freemasonry, the whole belief, I believe, at a fundamental level, is that it's worth spending time with one another. That's genuinely what I think it is. However, there are two types of meetings that generally take place when it comes to Freemasonry. There is administrative meetings where we are doing all the administrative tasks necessary to organize a Masonic lodge experience that includes correspondence, reading of minutes, um, uh, who's sick, who's in the hospital, bills that have to be paid. And then there's our ritual meetings where we are performing ritual, bringing in new members to the craft. But ultimately, the goal of being a Freemason, the fundamental belief of Freemasonry is that it is worth spending time with one another. So, what actions come out of the meetings? Well, again, Constantine, it depends on the purpose of the meeting. If the purpose of the meeting was administrative, then the action, the consequence is the maintaining of the order. Bills are paid, correspondence is responded to, minutes are read, but that can lead into bigger things like knowing our bank account balance, knowing what's happening means that we can afford and pay for special events, celebrations, banquets, but we need to have the minutes and everything else paid first. By the same token, if it is a ritual meeting or ceremonial meeting, what we discover is that lodges, we have a new member or a member has advanced. No, we're not going to do any boxing, JIP, but I am going to ask you to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm streaming all the time. The electricians are keeping me in business. Thank you, electricians. Thank you, tradespeople. I'm grateful for you. It exists because approximately 300 to 400 years ago, a group of men decided they want an excuse to be social and enjoy one another's company and hang out together because human beings like to do that. We like to enjoy one another's company. We like to be part of a group and decided to take the stone masons, which was a operative guild or a professional guild, and develop from it a social club or a social group called the Freemasons. Um, right? And the purpose of the social content, again, social component of it, again, was because human beings like that. And it's not the exclusive profession that has spun out into a social group. The Free Gardeners, which was a social group for gardeners, that eventually developed into a social group for both gardeners and non-gardeners. The police, Fraternal Order of Police, even the Legion, right? Many groups have developed social um, kind of components for both members and non-members of the profession. Yeah, I would say it's a men's social club. Now, it's not exclusively for men. There's also women Freemasons, Order of Women Freemasonry. Its purpose is, I mean, everybody will have their own purpose for it. For me, the purpose is to gather. Well, for me, the purpose is to try to make the world a better place through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. But I would say at its core, the fundamental purpose of Freemasonry is no different than the fundamental purpose of anything else that you do. It's to gather. I mean, you dress it up in different ways, right? With football, you're playing a team sport. You're dressing it up with rules and goals and touchdowns and points and stadiums. But at its core, it's because people want to hang out with one another, right? It's just the initial desire was the desire to associate with one another. And then people found different ways to create a reason for that, to create an excuse for that, whether it be sports, knitting, book clubs, or Freemasonry. Um, I don't think I'm going to do it tonight. Stay tuned. I don't want to make any promises. I promise I will do my best to watch it by the end of April, but I don't know if I'll do it tonight. And I don't know if I'll do it on stream. What I may do is watch it and then get back to you first and let you know what my thoughts are. The problem is I'm swamped. Well, the stonemasons originally formed for the same reason any guilds form, right? To protect the craft, to provide a space for training, to provide a space for apprentices to learn, to protect the craft. You want to have it's basically a form of licensing, right? The reason you have unions is to make sure that the people you are hiring are legitimate contractors, legitimate workers. So by being part of a guild, you can do that, right? Stonemasonry itself, I mean, in its purest form, you could argue goes back millions of years to when our human ancestors were first building things out of stone. But sooner or later, they realized, and this goes all the way back to Egypt, they had to form into groups of some sort to protect their crafts, to train people, and not to allow trade secrets to get out, right? Um, and again, that's at a time when you didn't have things like you do union cards or verifications. You had to rely on things like your ability to, grips, tokens, things of that nature. I mean, I do my best to dispel myths associated with Freemasonry. Constantine, do you have any particular myths that you want me to dispel? Um, so I do not try to control the narrative, but I try to be honest with my narratives. I agree, Space. How am I good enough for heaven? I have no idea if I'm good enough for heaven or not. I can't make any promises about that. I hope I'm good enough for down here on Earth at least and be a good neighbor. And I guess I'll worry about the next step when it gets to the next step. Tracking current TSA wait times at select major airports. I don't want to mention this because I do consider myself a professional traveler. Right now, the wait time in Newark is 46 minutes. I've been to that airport. John F. Kennedy, 30 minutes. Jackson in Atlanta, 19. Never been there. I've been there before, excuse me. Los Angeles, LAX, been there before, 15 minutes. Miami, not. Salt Lake City, not. Houston, I've been there, 5 minutes. George Bush, 5 minutes. Dallas, Fort Worth, 2 minutes. Denver, 2 minutes. LaGuardia, one. Detroit, zero. I've been to a lot of those airports, so I want to mention that. I understand Donald Trump is discussing sending ICE agents into the airport, which should be interesting to see. I'm definitely not a brainiac, hip hops, but thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. Consider a super chat. I am not a scientist. I'm a Freemason. Scientology and Freemasonry are different. Scientology, to my understanding, is more of a religion, whereas Freemasonry is a civic institution or a community group. So, hip hops, I don't know if you're new to the stream or not. I think you might be. I hope you'll hit the like button and the subscribe button. Same thing with everybody else watching this. Help me get over 3,730 subs on my way to 4,000. Hello, Mr. Photosphere. I mean, right now they're considering taking ICE agents and putting them in the airports. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know who though they are. They could have been John Smith, what the founder of Mormonism. Is that the correct? I'm trying to think of the name. Um, um, Joseph Smith, excuse me. I mean, there have been many famous Freemasons. Thank you, Hip Hop's plug. But there have been many people who people think were Freemasons and were not. Sometimes for positive reasons, sometimes for negative reasons. Like there's a lot of conspiracy theories that Jeffrey Epstein was a Freemason. There's no evidence that he was. Just to keep that in mind. Joseph Smith was a Freemason, at least to our knowledge, he was. Um, Michael Knight, welcome. Thank you for being here as well. I hope you're doing well. We are at 2 subs away from 3,730. Let's see if we can get there. And thank you, everybody who's been tuning into the streams. I do want to read some Masonic poems because it is, it is What was I saying? I can talk. It is World Poetry Day. So there's a lot of really incredible Masonic poems out there. We broke God's laws, but Jesus paid the price for us. Once again, Michael Knight, Freemasonry is not a religion, but there are many Freemasons who are Christian, who I'm sure would agree with you on that. Thank you, Mr. Dude _ cool for this Sunday. I don't think I've got one of those before, so that's fun. I'm grateful for that. We're going to start having some Masonic poems in the first, let's say, after the first 60 minutes is up. So, and a duck too. I was thinking of watching some of the um, I can talk. Sleepy Hollow on Disney Plus, because there is some cool Masonic references in the first season of that movie, so of that TV show. So maybe we'll get into that. But for now, we're just going to hang out, wait to see who joins. Once again, in about an hour, 30 minutes from now, we're going to switch over and we're going to start watching. We're going to start watching reading out some Masonic poems. And in fact, that could be a fun thing to do. Let's make that a poll question. Oops. Does the Masons accept women? Asks Ruff to the rescue. So there is the Order of Women Freemasons. There is also Eastern Star and Rainbow. So yeah, women are a very valuable part of the Masonic craft. Favorite Masonic poet? Robbie Burns, Rudyard Kipling. Let's see if I can get a couple more on here. What are the Knights of Columbus? The Knights of Columbus are a fraternity. They weren't started by, but they are basically under the auspices of the Catholic Church. There have been many wonderful Knights of Columbus, but it is similar to Freemasonry in that both of them are, both are fraternal organizations. Both of them, the difference is Freemasonry, does not require belief in a supreme being, whereas Freemasonry does not require belief in a supreme being. To my understanding, to be a Knight of Columbus, you must first be Catholic or of the Catholic faith, right? And I do not know a lot about their traditions or rituals, but I will say they have done a ton of excellent charitable work around the world. We're grateful for all the charitable work they have done. They have helped a lot of communities, and they're a valuable part of the civic space. Yeah, they weren't actually, to my knowledge, they weren't founded under Catholicism, but very quickly Catholicism folded the group into their order or into the Catholic Church and created it as an adjunct and part of the Catholic faith, or at least it's not part of the Catholic faith, but it is something that is kind of connected with the church, or something that Catholic men are able to join. It was kind of brought into the Catholic Church in many ways because the Catholic Church had denied its members joining Freemasonry, and as a consequence of that, they were looking for a fraternal group that they could create that, men could join. And so Knights of Columbus was it. Hello again, Courtney. God bless you as well. Keith, Skull and Bones is not Masonic. Skull and Bones is a separate organization. It's a fraternity. To my knowledge, it's a fraternity out of college. To my understanding, rough Opus Dei is a Catholic order. So again, it's not Masonic. It is, I think it is part of the Catholic faith, if I recall correctly. Skull and Bones is not connected to Freemasonry. There may have been members who were both Freemasons and Skull and Bones. That's very possible. But that doesn't mean that they're the same thing, right? You need to keep that in mind and remember that. It's not, just because you may have members who are parts of multiple groups, that does not automatically imply a connection between those two groups. Yes, the Knights of Columbus is Catholic. Hello, Michael2970. I think you might be new to the stream. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'm 2 subscribers away from 3,730 subs, so help a brother out. Let's see if we can get there. I just watched, it was fun. I just watched, by the way, Scream 2 once again. Great movie, underrated. Doesn't have anything to do with Freemasonry, but I just like that movie. Okay, I do not know if I recognized the name before. Well, thank you for coming back then. I'm grateful that you returned. Did you pick a favorite Masonic poet? And if so, which one did you pick? I haven't looked at the results yet. I feel like almost everybody's going to go with Robbie Burns because he's obviously the most famous and most well-known. But Rudyard Kipling, I think it's Rudyard, either Rudyard or Rudyard Kipling is pretty popular as well. So I guess we'll see. So Keith, how is Skull and Bones and Freemasonry connected out of curiosity? Because I've never seen any connections. I've been a Mason for 20 years. Now, I don't know everything, to be fair, so it's very possible I've missed out on some stuff, but let me know the connections that you're seeing. And we're just going to give it a bit of time, wait to see who joins. I mean, Freemasonry does have a variety of different groups. They don't create them to deter people around. They create them because people may have a desire for different aspects of the craft or want to grow within the craft. I mean, if your family doesn't want you joining clubs, then you don't want to do anything that's going to upset your family. What I would say is, though, human beings, as a general rule, enjoy joining clubs. It's kind of part of what it means to be human. So I'm not sure how much I would buy this idea of don't join clubs. I think joining clubs is a good thing. I think it's our human nature. Now, the type of club is an issue. Don't get me wrong, right? I wouldn't say just any club you should join, right? If it's doing illegal or immoral things, but Freemasonry is not doing anything illegal or immoral. So there you go. But obviously, you should also respect your family's wishes. I've always said within Freemasonry, we want to make sure that as much as possible, the family's on board. Because if you have somebody who's joining Freemasonry, but their family has issues with it and does not want them joining, I would suggest that could be perhaps very not good. So keep that in mind. Right? And find a way to keep yourself and your family happy. Well, I would say the Crips probably not the best thing to join, right? You don't want to be joining anything that is engaged in illegal activities. Hello, Lou Allen. Oh, that's the old, who said that? I remember somebody said that. I just can't think of who it was. Rodney Dangerfield? I think that's the Rodney Dangerfield joke, if I recall correctly. Or no, I know who said that. I used to know. No, Keith, the Microsoft M symbol is not a Masonic symbol. Very sorry to disappoint. I don't know if you're kidding or not. I have no idea who you are, but what I would say is, um, if you are kidding, it's probably not a good idea to kid about that. And if you're not kidding, then I probably wouldn't join. So I guess you can decide for yourself, where you want to take that. But you do what you want, you do what makes you feel happy. Just keep in mind, I would say there's probably serious risk to join the Crips. If you're looking for community support, companionship, you're probably far better off joining something like Freemasonry, just for the record. George Carlin, okay. I'm right and you're wrong. Well, I am rubber and you are glue, Keith Haskell. I would suggest we maybe reconsider that. Um, I mean, anything's possible. We're not going to know for sure until I end up, up above. But I would say I've got 20 years of being a Freemason to rely upon and traveling around the world. So I try to be wholesome. I don't always succeed. You got a plunger on you. I don't know what that means, but please hit like and subscribe. Interesting in terms of the votes, we've got Robbie Burns at 9%, Rudyard Kipling at 50. So Rudyard Kipling is way in the lead. Um, well, the M on the Masonic apron, I mean, it depends on which jurisdiction you're in, which apron you're looking at. A lot of jurisdictions just have the lambskin apron for all 3 degrees, but the M on the male is not the M from is not a Masonic symbol, right? Because to my knowledge, Bill Gates is not a Freemason. Now, interestingly enough, um, uh, Steve Wozniak is a Freemason. So I thought that was cool. I'd love to have Freemason. I'd love to have Steve Wozniak on the channel to talk about his Masonic experiences, but so far, no luck. I have no idea what the 13 bloodlines are. I have no idea that there are 13 bloodlines, but okay. AI time traveler, welcome from wherever it is you traveled from. I mean, I am not an American history buff, so I have no idea. I believe it was 13 states, but I think you're looking into a lot of silliness. What is that? What is Freemasonry? Freemasonry is a civic organization that has existed for about 300, 400 years. Think of it like a club or a social group. And thank you for being here. Coffee, delicious coffee, because it's going to be a late night, so I'm going to need coffee. It is all hidden symbology. Well, there you go. I mean, if it's hidden, how do you know about it, right? I would suggest you may be looking into things that don't actually exist and reading into things that don't actually exist. So keep that in mind. I don't know what a robotheist is. Do you mean monotheist? I mean, Freemasonry, you don't have to believe in a specific religion. We have many Masons of many different faiths and many different beliefs. Some are monotheistic. I would say most are probably monotheistic. Most are probably of the Abrahamic faith. We do make good men better. That is one of our ideas. That is one of our quotes that we very often use. Yes, but are you sure that you're noticing things that are legitimately there, or are you noticing things that aren't actually there, but you choose to see them, right? It's called confirmation bias. It's also called blue car syndrome. It's also sometimes called frequency bias. Hello, insert anger. Let's not have any anger anywhere. Let's avoid that, and let's please hit that like button and that subscribe button. No, I've been a Freemason for 20 years. I've never seen anything satanic within Freemasonry. So there you go. Well, I mean, you are a time traveler, so I highly suspect your information is legitimate or accurate. There you go. Video games do you play? My favorite video game right now is Assassin's Creed Part 3. I also really love the Dead Space video games. I just found out though, PS3 is considered a retro video game, and I think I felt my bones start to break a little bit. What's your favorite video game though? And are you new to the stream? I don't know if I remember Insert Anger if you remember your name from before. So you're old as well. What's your favorite old video game? I don't never played Minecraft. So, oh, you're going PS2. So you're definitely retro then if I'm retro. Eric, I don't care about being a manly man or being an alpha. I'm not a big fan of all that stuff. I think it's silly. Just be a good man and honorable. I think the Anderson Constitution of Freemasonry, we would have missed out on a lot of the goodness of it if they were telling us to be a man's man, for example, and a village. Well, I mean, I think Freemasonry is good in and of itself. I don't even think I'd think about the goals so much. Um, it's just about it's good to be with other people. It's good to associate. I think that is the fundamental belief within Freemasonry, that associating with others is a good thing. Um, oh, Tomb Raider on the original Xbox. That is awesome. I loved that original Tomb Raider. I played it forever back in the day. See, when I was a kid, I had the Nintendo. Shows how old I am with the original Mario. Then I stopped playing video games for a while. Then I got a PlayStation. I remember loving the original Tomb Raider. Then for about 10, 15, almost 20 years, I kind of stopped playing video games altogether. And I got back into them when I discovered horror games. So, no, I don't think the Hells Angels are good for the record. Um, I mean, they do say though with these video games, they absolutely help you with things like and hand-eye coordination. They help you with problem-solving skills. So yeah, Tomb Raider was great. That was an awesome video game. I like the movies too. I understand they have a new movie coming out with I think Sophie Turner, if I recall correctly. She looks the part. I mean, I saw her in the costume. It looked incredible. The dressed up like Laura Croft, so she's rocking it out. Well, then maybe they're not as bad as I thought. I would say though, probably best to avoid joining the Hells Angels. Were I you? Um, so, what's your favorite park metal detecting? Your favorite game system? Oh, I remember Tyson Punch Out as well. What a great game that was. Well, Laura Croft is a fictional character. I don't know if they did something in the movies or the video games to her, like brought in a new character and killed her off. I suppose it's possible. I haven't kept up with the Tomb Raider video games, so I can't really say. What is it about PlayStation 2 you like so much? Because for me, it's PS3, but honestly, if I had the money, I might even try to get a PS5 just for the Dead Space remakes, if nothing else. Honestly, one thing I really enjoy quite a bit, Atari, wow, going back. One thing I really enjoy is Conan O'Brien's Clueless Gamer series. If you haven't seen it, he does a lot of really funny stuff, so I'd recommend you check it out. Wait for the PS6? Why would I avoid getting a PS5? Really? So I'm not an expert on video games at all, so I can't really say, or video game systems for that matter. Oh, look at that, Giga Chad. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. You must be new to the stream because I think I remember the name Giga Chad. And let me know how it's going. Any thoughts on Freemasonry? Positive, negative, neutral? I'd love to hear it. And consider some super chats, some gifts, all that good stuff. I'm 42. So, speaking of insert anger, making me feel old all of a sudden over here. Why can't we just be cool, you know? There were no games on PS5. Didn't they just do a re-release of Dead Space on the PS5? And again, Dead Space, as somebody who loves scary movies, loves horror, I love the Dead Space series on PS3. I think number two is the best, to be honest. Dead Space 2, but 3 and 1 are both incredible. What I ever do to you, AI time traveler? Apparently I'm ancient. All right, well, fair enough. Chicken, rice. I'm gonna just call you. I'm gonna just call you Rice. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe, and let me know how you're doing. I authorize this crow's milk. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. PC is greater. I don't think PC is greater than any supreme being, but okay. You do you. You're not completely wrong, Giga Chad, but the difference is the varying positions of authority. Like within Freemasonry, obviously, there's hierarchical structures and there's various positions of authority. There's a worshipful master of a lodge, for example. But in the community, I mean, they can be anything from plumbers, electricians, carpenters, business owners, to police officers, politicians. It's not as though to be a Freemason, you have to have some type of authority outside of Freemasonry. So this channel talks about Freemasonry. It's my attempt to turn my passion for Freemasonry into profession by streaming and creating content. Um, I have sometimes videos on the 21st of every month. What I try to do is almost streaming marathons where I used to stream for 24 hours straight. I got a bit too old for that, but I'll stream for long periods of time, take short breaks, basically over a 24-hour period on all my different channels. Undefined, please hit like, please hit subscribe as well. I would be grateful. I mean, I think AI is fascinating. I think AI is fascinating as an idea. I've written about AI and Freemasonry. So, no, insert anger. I've been a Freemason for 20 years. I've never seen any worship of Satan. Freemasonry is not a religion, so there's no worship. It's not about worship per se. Has Freemasonry ever prevented a war? No, to my knowledge, it hasn't. Um, but I do think it's interesting question to ask is can Freemasonry prevent wars in the future? Might that be a possibility? Um, Freemasonry, again, I'm a Canadian first, I'm a Freemason second. I love my country. I would always support my country. So if, for example, heaven forbid, we went to war, I would expect, all the Masons to go to war on behalf of Canada against America, even if there are Americans in American Masons fighting. Knock on wood, that never happens. But hopefully, what we could see is maybe if tensions start to rise between countries, if we have a greater level of civic engagement and a greater level of Freemasonry within the countries, maybe that will calm tensions a little bit because we can look at each other across whatever borders they may be as brothers first and foremost, more so than anything else. I'm from New Zealand. Welcome from New Zealand. I would love to visit a lodge in New Zealand. There's a lot of Freemasonry in New Zealand, so that is awesome. Well, I don't have a spiritual wife, nor do I have a literal wife, so I don't know what that means. But no, there are things I'm not going to share with the chat because maintaining the privacy of our Masonic lodges is important. It's how we maintain the bonds of brotherhood between past, present, and future generations um, of the craft. In the same way, maintaining the privacy of a family recipe maintains the bonds between past, present, and future generations of the family. Lemon Pilgrim, can you turn yourself around and hit the like and subscribe button? That's the better question. Please do so. And no, Freemasonry does not want to start a new world order. That's also not what we're looking to do. So, very sorry to disappoint you once again. Oh, there is. I know there's a lot of Freemasonry in New Zealand and in Australia, and in the Pacific. I guess Indo-Pacific. Uh, I've never had to do anything. I'm not a 33rd, but I've never done anything that requires depravity. I've always said I've never seen any Masonic ritual that is illegal, immoral, or against one's civic, religious, or spiritual responsibilities. I know many Muslim Freemasons, including many Muslim 33rd degree Freemasons. Islam is not false. Islam is a religion that many people follow, and many people who follow it are, dedicated, charitable, kind, and a valuable part of the communities. Um, Trump is a Mason. So Trump is not a Mason, to my knowledge. I've never seen any evidence that he is. Um, Lemon Pilgrim, Freemasons are the good guys. You know what else is the good guys? Hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button. And I would be grateful if you did that. Thank you so much for being here. Sometimes it depends on the junior warden of the lodge who will decide if there is going to be soft drinks and popcorn served. The worshipful master is the brother responsible for providing refreshments at a Masonic Lodge meeting. He is not, I've never seen any evidence that he is. On what are you basing that statement that he is of the Scottish Rites? Because I see no evidence to confirm that. We're just going to keep hanging out, wait to see who joins. Don't forget, if you hit the subscribe button, also please take a moment to turn on the notification bell, right? What hand symbols? I've been a Freemason for 20 years. I've never seen Trump make any hand symbols that are Masonic related. We don't even have what's called hand symbols. We have what's called modes of recognition. Um, Well, because everything you say seems to be incorrect. So, yes. Because unfortunately, right now, the number of subscribers who have notifications on for my channel is 2.9%. Typical on YouTube is 5 to 20%. So, we could use the help a little bit, get some more of those notification bells turned on. Catholicism, I do play video games. I enjoy Dead Space. I also enjoy Assassin's Creed Part 3 very much. I like the Resident Evil games from back in the day. We wouldn't call them that, though. We call them modes of recognition, not hand signals. And the nature of them and what they are, if you want to learn, you got to join. Giga Chad, I do not know who the Dajjal is. Kind of, sort of, Space Legume. He did imply it. Again, he was giving his own opinions. To my understanding of it, Albert Pike was Luciferian. He was Christian as well. But basically, in his opinion, to my knowledge, Lucifer in the Garden of Eden, the snake, is not Satan from, the fallen angel. They're actually different entities. Lucifer is better understood as a kind of a source of knowledge, a bringer of light, like Prometheus, a Prometheus type figure. He also warned, though, that if you're not careful, he'll provide you with such knowledge and such light that it will actually blind you and hide the truth from you. So any kind of time you are seeking knowledge or seeking wisdom, he kind of viewed that as you're seeking out the God of light, but not Satan, not the fallen angel. But you also had to have a strong ethical background, a strong ethical backing, including perhaps in Christianity, or at least in some type of ethical standpoint, to avoid being blinded by the knowledge. Yes, but keep in mind, again, he was giving his philosophy on Freemasonry, not actual rules or instructions on how to be a Freemason. So, insert, every Mason will have his own understanding and views on what on what religion it is that they follow. Please hit like and subscribe. The Grand Architect is not Satan, dude, but I still hope you hit like and subscribe. Consider some super chats, some gifts to the channel, all that good jazz. Help me turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. I could Catholicism, I just don't have the technology to do that. I'm not quite sure how to. I have done clips of me playing video games in the past. Lane, good. Please hit like and subscribe. Freemasonry is rooted from stone Masonic guilds in the Middle Ages, the 15th and 16th centuries. There was a Mason in 1737, Chevalier Andrew Raymond, who claimed that Freemasonry evolved from the Templars, but I don't believe there's any actual evidence for that. I think it's apocryphal. My favorite game would probably be Dead Space 2. Maybe Assassin's Creed Part 3 is also a possibility. I remember when Call of Duty first came out, I was playing it with some of my roommates at the time. This guy called Joe, really cool dude. But it's been so long. I'm not a big fan of action games. But if you ever want to see something really funny, watch Conan O'Brien, Clueless Streamer, where he's trying to make it across the street. Because he's playing Call of Duty and he has to get across the street, and it's very difficult for him. Oh, hope everybody's okay. I will look it up, Giga Chad. Thank you for that. If I like Masonry, I might like the Game Adventure Quest Worlds. I will look that up for sure. Thank you so much for recommending that. He could have been. I mean, Freemasonry, the symbols of Freemasonry, it pops up a ton in a ton of different video games, movies. Very often, it won't even be mentioned. They'll just put a symbol in and let the audience notice it as like an Easter egg, which can be really cool. By the way, Giga Chad, have you hit that like button and that subscribe button yet? I've never played Fortnite because I'm old. What can I say? I'm an old man. Can't be playing Fortnite. The owner could be a Mason, or he could be fascinated by it. Absolutely. Never played Qbert either. Favorite game, probably SmackDown versus Raw. Oh my gosh, insert. So when in 2008, I was an intern in the Office of Canada Revenue Agency over summer, and it was incredible. And I rented out this, or basically subletted this apartment for the 4 months I was an intern. I lived in Ottawa, and all of the people who were living there left, to my knowledge. But every now and then I would come home and there'd be something moved around or changed. It always freaked me out. I might have been living with a ghost. But anyways, all of the students were coming back in September, so they left all of their stuff there basically, including their N64, if I recall correctly. And the game that they had left was, it actually wasn't SmackDown versus Raw. It was NWO versus WCW. It was the game with Raven on the cover and Goldberg, and I think it was Hollywood Hogan. And I remember playing that game. Like, I'd get back, I'd have the night off. I would sometimes stop off in Blockbuster to rent a movie or two, and then I would sit there and play that game like all night, and then go back to work the next morning. It was a really wonderful time. Oh my God, you're a child. First of all, once again, 2012, make sure you have permission to be here from your parents. Second, oh, you made me feel a million years old just there. So thank you so much for that. No, I mean, there may be Masons who are engaged in witchcraft. I did meet a couple of Wiccan, Wiccan Masons. But if you are a Freemason, you should not be stealing. You should not be manipulating. That would be not being good and honorable. So, no. It does, Rebel Duster, and that's why I love the game so much. Assassin's Creed 3 is so much fun to play because it has so much Masonic symbolism in it. Your parents are your parents. So there you go. Welcome back, Rebel Duster. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. To everybody watching, I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. Consider a super chat. I'm going to be talking about Masonic poems soon, but right now I'm just chatting with people just for fun. Well, obviously I can't, disclose. What I would suggest is speak to some brethren out of Dearborn, Michigan. Contact the lodge in Dearborn, Michigan. There is a very significant Muslim population in Dearborn, and there are many Muslim Masons therein. So if you contact Dearborn Masonic Lodge, you should be able to meet up with some Muslim Freemasons. You're grounded because you taught back to your teacher, is what you told me, which is a good reason to be grounded. Well, I mean, so the most obvious Masonic symbolism in Assassin's Creed 3 is in the tunnels, which is the square and compasses you see, right? Hold on just one second. This live is about Freemasonry, and I'm just doing a bit of a marathon streaming session. Let's see if I can actually pull my shirt up. It's this here, right? And that's the square and compasses. It's the well-known symbols of Freemasonry. It's meant to represent the Masonic tools of stonemasons with the G in the middle. And so that just indicates Masons were there. Freemasons were there in particular. You also see the Green Dragon Tavern, which is a very important meeting place within Freemasonry. It was the original place where the Boston Freemasons met. Ben Franklin is a Freemason. Paul Revere is a Freemason. They're both part of the game as well. So yeah, those are just a few of the symbols therein. As your teacher should have. As your teacher should have. I do not know what that means, but okay. So those are the ones I posted about or talked about. Not that many. I've actually just met a couple. So again, speculative Freemasonry or my type of Freemasonry is not a profession. Operative Freemasonry is. So Abraham Lincoln was not a Freemason, at least based on everything I've seen. I am not a controlled opposition agent. Are you a subscriber to the channel? Because if you're not, what are you waiting for? Would I rather gain muscles or gain eagers? I don't know what it means to gain an eager. So I guess muscles? No, Freemasonry is not taken over by evil. So there you go. And I do not know what it would mean to be a controlled opposition agent. Because I'm not in opposition to Freemasonry. I talk about how much I love Freemasonry. So I'd be doing a pretty bad job. I'm in opposition to anti-Masons, I suppose. There was a letter that was written to George Washington that claimed Freemasonry was taken over by the Illuminati. George Washington, to my knowledge, never responded to it for valid reason. Because it was nonsense. Yes, there are many Chinese Freemasons. There's also Freemasonry in Hong Kong and Macau. So, Space Legume, you need to understand, or sorry, not Space Legume, right, Keith Haskell, like that is the problem with what you say, right? You put us in a position where, like, if you say to somebody, hey, I think you're a bad person, or I think you're doing something illegal, of course they're going to deny it, because what else are they going to do? Right? So it's the problem with conspiracy theories is the denial is very often used to confirm the original premise. Well, I don't always call you a liar. Very often I just think you're wrong. Though sometimes being wrong or lying makes no difference if other people believe it. Leatherface, first of all, I mean, I'm a little bit mad at you because I love Freemasonry, so it makes me sad when you say it's shit. But I do love Leatherface, and I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. So you're putting me in quite the awkward position here. Or do you mean Freemasonry is the shit, which is another way of saying it's a good thing? Like when I say Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation is the shit, I mean it's a good thing. Catholicism, unfortunately, you can't always control what people will be in the chat. You got to kind of pick your battles. Well, I would definitely choose Freemasonry over being part of the Assassin's Creed. I don't want to assassinate anybody. That seems like a lot of work. Actually, the Nazis did not like Freemasonry. The Nazis outlawed Freemasonry. They put a whole bunch of us in the in concentration camps. No, the game? Like, well, if I was told that I could not play Assassin's Creed anymore and still be a Freemason, I would obviously choose Freemasonry because the game's not that important to me. But I would highly question what was happening and why it was the case that I was being, that Freemasons would make such a rule because it wouldn't seem consistent with what Freemasonry is all about. I am not related to Owen Steyer. I don't like Infowars at all. I think that they are making the world a much less good place. Um, so, Leatherface, I've been a Freemason for just about 20 years. I'm lucky and grateful to be one. Uh, I mean, you can believe what you want to believe, or you can listen to me and my experiences as a Freemason, and maybe you will reconsider some of your thoughts. Infowar, it's with Alex Jones. It's a YouTube kind of talk show thing. Um, no, we are not bearers of chaos. In fact, we encourage good order within society, as all Freemasons should. We should be compliant with the rules of the government in which we live or work or travel. DJ, please hit like and subscribe. Consider doing a super chat, etc., etc. All that stuff helps me turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. Well, I've never taken anybody out in France or anywhere else. To my knowledge, the idea that Freemasons were involved in the French Revolution is a gross misunderstanding. I mean, in the same way, George Washington was a Freemason. It doesn't mean Freemasonry was the catalyst for the American Revolution. I don't. I'm not worried about people joining or not joining. I'm just worried about the ability to talk about Freemasonry because I love it so much. If you want to join Freemasonry or if you don't want to join Freemasonry, either way is completely fine with me. So I guess there you go. George Washington, well, he's passed away, obviously, but he was a Freemason, made a Freemason in Virginia. Um, if I recall correctly, Alexandria Lodge, I think, if I recall correctly. Doing your own research is a very valuable thing to do, absolutely. And I mean, also, use sense about what is being asked, what is being stated, right? Common sense needs to go a long way. For example, if you believe that Freemasons are out there engaged in human sacrifices, the obvious question is, how is it that the organization could still exist? Because who would want to join such an organization if you're going to be sacrificed? I think the American Revolution is not part of, well, I mean, again, there are many Freemasons who were part of it, but there are many Freemasons in Britain as well, right? So most of the presidents are not Freemasons, DJ Jones. 15 out of the 45 presidents are Freemasons. So that's 33%. Um, you could argue Joe Biden maybe is a Freemason, although if so, he did not become one until his very last day in office. So it's not as though Freemasonry was particularly influential on his time as either a president or a vice president. Um, yeah, well, we do not. So your church is incorrect. Um, well, there is definitely an element on Freemasonry that is, I mean, Freemasonry is in its nature very democratic. So whether it be Jose Rizal, Bolivar, Giuseppe, there will always be this tendency for Freemasons probably to, especially in the 17th and 18th centuries, to err more on the side or have a preference for democratic rule over monarchies. But by the same token, Freemasonry also greatly values tradition, which means in many cases there are Freemasons who are supportive of the monarchy as a form of tradition. I, for example, am a big supporter of the monarchy in Canada, and I am a Freemason as well. I mean, join the cult or don't, but let's not go threatening. I love ancient Greece. When I was going to school, I got my degree in anthropology, but I got my undergrad degree or I got my kind of minor in classics, which was the study of ancient Greece and ancient Rome. Certainly, as a Mason, ancient Greece is incredibly important to me because of the stone masonry therein, right? The pillars, the columns, the Ionic, Doric, Tuscan, Corinthian, and Composite are all examples of Greek architecture and are all important within Freemasonry. I love Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's great. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I love that song. I liked the Bob Dylan movie starring Timothy Chalamet a lot as well. So Lenin, they definitely did not, because Freemasonry was banned in Russia after the communist takeover. Well, I think all the pillars are probably in the Bible, right? Catholicism. Certainly when the New Testament was being written, those columns would have been quite prevalent all around, not just Judea, but the ancient world. Sweat, time, energy, and dedication. The same way anything is constructed. Well, you're still here, Kentai, so your life is not sacrificed, and I hope that you go on to live a good one. Would be all I can advise. User, no, but you are here. Please hit like and subscribe. I mean, again, Stonehenge is a great example of the way that Freemasonry is so valuable, or the way that stone is so important to humanity, right? It's the way that we have kept time, marked occasions, worshipped, transmitted knowledge, created permanent residences, allowing us to engage in agriculture, improved our diets through the creation of stone tools. No, it wasn't. It's still there. I think you're thinking of the Georgia guidepost. Stonehenge is still there. They just had a solstice celebration a couple days ago. I don't believe in ghosts, and I don't believe in aliens. I certainly don't believe aliens have ever visited us. Is it possible that there's alien life out there? I think that's very possible, but I don't believe it. Right now, I've not seen any evidence. So I kind of have to just go, it's possible, but I don't necessarily buy it. And until I see them, I'm not going to necessarily believe in it. Leatherface, once again, you are incorrect about Freemasonry, but let me ask you, what is your favorite of the Texas Chainsaw movies? If you're like me, maybe you love Next Generation, starring Matthew McConaughey. I know they mentioned the Illuminati in that movie. Everybody thinks the Illuminati equals Freemasonry. No. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is great. Honestly, I'm one of those people who I tend to prefer the sequels to the OG. We're not going to ban Keith yet, but, we'll see what happens. You may get a timeout. Well, tell me the truth. So far, you've told me a lot of nonsense. Hello, MT79. Let's have no passing of gas in the chat. I don't know if you can smell through YouTube, but let's not find out. Oh, I'm not there. The Bob Dylan movie. Yeah, it was a great movie. No, we're not going to do that, Catholicism. Well, I think MT79 needs to be put in a timeout in a second. Cover what up? We're not covering anything up. And there is no Masonic leader, like globally. There's jurisdictional leadership, but there is no single leader for Freemasonry. Because you're saying a bunch of nonsense. Not everybody can see what you're saying, because YouTube is kindly and correctly hiding it, because it's better to not see that stuff at all. There is no giant. I don't know what you mean by giants. There's tall people. I'm not sure if I know Ligma. No, we don't have leadership in that sense. Freemasonry is decentralized. There is no single governing body or single governing individuals. There's a Grand Master in Ontario who's responsible for Freemasonry in Ontario. Freemasonry tells us, as we should know anyways, that all men are equal, all people are equal. So I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, I don't care if you're Hindu, Sikh, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, I don't care if you're Catholic or Protestant, I don't care if you're First Nations, you are my equal, you are a brother of the dust and a son of Adam. There you go. That's a good way to think about it. And I would call that image, if you're not necessarily Christian, which I'm not, I would say that image is best understood as that part within us that is equal to all others. Um, I want to be based, but I am of this. I mean, we're all based in our own ways, Space Legume. We're all based in our own ways. Freemasonry prefers the internal and not external qualities of man. It's not about how you look, which is a good thing because I'm so ugly. It's not about, the fancy clothes you have. It's about whether you're a good person or not on the inside. That's what matters. It's the internal qualifications. Well, which book would you recommend? Because I've been a Freemason for many years. I mean, if you mean occult, simply you mean something hidden, then sure, Freemasonry has occult qualities, but by that same token, your bank account is also occult. I have no idea what Building 7 is, but now we got the 9/11 truthers in the chat. Alam, I don't know. Alam, I can't pronounce that. I'm going to call you ALAM. I'm going to call you Alan. We used to date. Well, you never called me back then after dinner. Hit the like and subscribe button. If you were in a cult, I'm very sorry. It's very easy for people to fall into cults for a variety of different reasons. And then it's very easy once somebody falls into a cult to be stuck staying in it far longer than they want. Candace, who? Which Candace? Best Top. Please hit like and subscribe, by the way. I'm 2 subscribers away from 3,730 subs. So let's see if we can get it there. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. If you're talking about Candace Owens, who's probably like the biggest Candace I can think of, then I know of her. I'm concerned with the things she says about Freemasonry, but that's a whole other story. I don't believe Albert Pike was in the KKK. People have told me that, but I've never seen any evidence that he was. Now, in fairness, Nathaniel Bedford Forrest was, and he was also a Freemason, which just goes to show you don't always, and you're not always capable of truly understanding the ideas and ideals of Freemasonry. That's awesome. Welcome, Freemason. I look handsome, 21 Gun 67. Please hit like and subscribe. There was one Rothschild who was a Freemason. Everybody makes this huge deal about that. I don't get why. I think it was Nathan Rothschild. He did. It was taken down and then put back. So, which, look, nobody's perfect. I have a lot of problems with Albert Pike. I have a ton of problems with Albert Pike. But he also did a lot of good things. So you have to kind of take the good and the not so good. Yes, I got a big nose. Best Top. What can I say? No, Freemasonry has no single boss. Freemasonry is decentralized. There is no single governing body within Freemasonry, despite what you may think to the contrary. 5 family, no, that is not a fact. There is no Masonic leadership in the way you think. There is jurisdictional leadership. There is a leader in Ontario. He's responsible for Freemasonry in Ontario. There's no one above him. By the same token, he's not able to create rules and responsibilities for Freemasonry in, for example, the United Kingdom or Manitoba for that matter. I dare say what I so choose to say. I'm not afraid of what I will or will not say. Rather, I make choices based on my understanding of what Freemasonry is. If I was being funded by the Rothschilds, do you really think this would be my studio? If I was being funded by the Rothschilds, I'd be doing a lot better than I am right now. And thank you, by the way, for helping me get to 3,730 subs. I'm making my way to 3,000 to 4,000 subs. That's the goal. Well, I mean, I would hope that the Nazis cease to exist. They're terrible people. They make the world a worse place. They are the villains of history. Now, they're not the exclusive. There are many different villains throughout history, throughout time. But Nazis are one of them, that's for sure. Favorite Masonic poet, interestingly enough, Rudyard Kipling is in the lead with 37%. Johann van Gogh at 20, Robbie Burns at 27, Rob Morris at 17. More people knew about Rob Morris than I thought. So that's really cool. I have seen Interstellar. I liked it because I love space exploration. And I love the idea of space travel. So, yes. I want to see Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary. I'm a plant host. Well, there you go. I don't think there's any plants inside me as of this moment. Someone's been watching too much Last of Us. We're just hanging out, waiting to see who joins. I know it's late, but sometimes I get a bunch of people showing up on these streams late, so we'll see. I mean, first of all, it depends how you define older, right? I mean, Canada is plenty old. I mean, there were people here, what, 20,000 years ago crossing the Bering Strait. Um, Now, different types of government are of different ages, right? For example, there's been a parliamentary system in England far longer than there was in Canada. But the age of these countries themselves, it gets a little bit more complicated. I don't know if you can say one country is older than another. It's political systems. I have not seen the 100 Supernatural. I do not consider you profane. I've never really heard Masons use the term profane to describe non-Masons. I would just say they're just non-profane. Or sorry, they're just non-Masons, right? Masons and non-Masons. I'm not a big fan of the term profane. Well, Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon and he was a Freemason. Neil Armstrong was not a Freemason. He was the first to land on the moon. But Tranquility Lodge does talk about that. So that is really cool. And I love space exploration. I love the moon landing. I love all that jazz. It comes apocryphally from the Knights Templars. The Nazis did not like Masons. That is true. The Nazis put Masons in concentration camps. Honestly, though, this is one of those things where it's like, judge me by my enemies, right? If our enemies are the Nazis, then I think Freemasonry is doing something right. There you go. You're a mod in training. It's tough being a mod. We ain't destroying anything. We're builders. Almost by definition, we as Freemasons are builders, right? Because we evolved from stonemasonry, which is a building trade. It's about journeymen and tradesmen. No, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon with somebody else. I can't think of his name. Right, there's a third person as well. Stanley Kubrick did not land on the moon. Very sorry to disappoint. I'm not one of those ones who tolerates, moon landing conspiracies. Kubrick, no, it was it was Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Excuse me. I would love to go to Mars, even if it wasn't safe. I think it would be incredible to step foot on a new planet. That would be unbelievable and really cool. What have ever built with stone? I mean, oh my gosh, what hasn't been built with stone? The pyramids, um, uh, temples, Stonehenge, um, the Windsor Masonic Temple, the Detroit Masonic Temple, cathedrals. I mean, for most of human history, almost every building that survived over 100 years was built by stone. Granite, marble. What have I ever built from stone? Nothing. I can't build from stone to save my life. I am a speculative Freemason, not an operative Freemason. But I like to think metaphorically I'm able and capable of building, building myself and building my temple and building my community. Mount Rushmore, yes, I guess that was. I don't know if I'd say that was built from stone so much as carved from stone or maybe extracted from stone in some ways. Might be the way to think of it. Well, I never claimed to be a stonemason. I claimed to be a Freemason. Um, and I'm grateful for stonemasons for everything they did to help develop the operative side of the order, thereby allowing me to join the speculative side of the order. Good coffee. They have many. Hello, Team USA wins gold. They have many YMCA's in Canada. Yeah. Oh, there are still many real Masons. Check out Yorkshire Stone Cutter, I think is the name on Instagram. It's incredible, and it's a whole bunch of really fascinating and really cool. He's basically films himself working on stone. Um, well, then I guess don't type that family name. Yes, but Eyes Wide Shut has nothing to do with Freemasonry. I know it's some weird conspiracy theory. I don't know where it came from, but there you go. I haven't seen Eyes Wide Shut for ages. Like, I don't even know how long it's been. Decades? Gotta be 20 years at least. I did see Alien Romulus. I did like it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Okay, One Door 3. Can you share some of your poems? Like, can you send me an email with some of your poems? The best way to do that is go to um, squarecompass.ca. Hold on just 1 second. Go to squareandcompass.ca, go to contact us, and I'd love to see some of your poems. Maybe I could share them if that would be okay with you, if you give me permission to. Because that'd be really cool. Oh, I like all the Alien movies. For me, the best Alien movie is the first. I don't think we're ever going to do better than that. I think it was incredible. Um, that was such a good film. But I enjoy all of them. I also really enjoyed Alien versus Predator Part 2. I think it was called Requiem. Because I love the, small town scary movies. Um, I have no idea what you're talking about with giants. Giants don't exist unless you're talking about Andre the Giant. That's awesome. Do you share your, sorry, do you share, oh, sorry, my shorts are, so you share your music and you share your poetry on YouTube? That's awesome. Good for you. I wish you best of luck. Because Jewish people are as much a part of Freemasonry as any other group, Hindu, Sikh, Muslim, etc., etc. And so when you say talk about them, why single them out? They are just as valid a part of the Brotherhood as anything else. Well, I mean, again, what is a giant? I mean, Andre the Giant? Do you mean people with gigantism, like the Big Show, or whatever it might be, like just really tall people? Or are you talking about like some type of special separate species? In which case, no. Um, oh, we are definitely getting anti-Semitic in here. Let's just calm down with this nonsense. Why can, I mean, so Goliath again? Was he? Is giant meaning a separate species of people, or is it just meaning a really big person, like an Andre the Giant? You know, heck, even people like the Undertaker, Kane, over 7 feet tall or over 6 feet tall. Um, when you say I might be in an abusive relationship, I mean, I hope you're not speaking literally. If you are, find resources to help. Um, Well, I did not know that. And also, I mean, it could have been dinosaurs, or it could have been, I mean, the ancients found giant bones as well, which, most people would argue were probably dinosaur bones. They just didn't understand them. Okay, well, everybody check out at One Door 3. I'd love to support his channel. I mean, I can't speak to it. I've never seen it, but you should check it out. And if you like his stuff, and if you think it's good, then by all means like and subscribe to it. Um, I mean, for me, Palpatine growing up, it was always Bret Hart. I loved Bret Hart. I think Bret Hart is the one of the greatest. My personal favorite right now is John Cena. But if I had to say, I would put Bret Hart above HBK, though they're both incredible, without a doubt. Yeah, like Rey Mysterio. Of course, how could I not? Also one of the greats. And the fact that he's still going, um, well, I mean, again, this is like define witches, right? Bebe? I'm gonna call you Bay. Because like there are definitely people who are Wiccans who practice like pagan, if you want to call it witchcraft or ceremonies or rituals. Um, so I mean, I believe they exist. I don't believe magic in the sense of casting spells to move things or turn yourself invisible or whatever it might be. I don't believe that exists. I don't believe in the supernatural, but I believe people may find a level of peace and comfort through, Wiccan practices. So, I mean, I would suggest that's probably aliens. That's probably dinosaurs. Like aliens, I don't believe in giants as being a separate species. Again, they're really big people, really tall people, really muscular people. Again, Andre the Giant, but I don't think that means that the giants are like a separate class of humans, right? Mr. McMahon was always hilarious. I used to love playing with Ouija boards. Again, I don't believe in the supernatural, so it's very hard. I don't think they have necessarily a lot of influence over me, but I like them because I just like supernatural for fun, right? I think there's a value in the stuff as entertainment. Palpatine Reborn. Somehow Palpatine has returned. Please hit like and subscribe. Um, Palpatine Reborn. I would much, much appreciate it. Um, I mean, I've always loved, again, I don't believe it's real, but I've always loved the supernatural for entertainment purposes. In the same way, I love movies about ghosts and goblins, but I don't believe ghosts and goblins are real. And I also love slashers, although I suppose in that case, they're a little bit more possible, you know, like Sorority Row could be a real thing, even though it's a great film. If you fight, then I mean, I like to think I'd be willing to fight if it came to it, although I'd like to think the best fights are the ones you don't have, as a general rule of thumb. Demons, again, I'm not one who necessarily believes that, but if you do, I appreciate you looking out for me. I'm very skeptical of, um, I'm very skeptical of supernatural or the supernatural. Um, but I do believe it can affect people psychologically. Like if you believe in that and somebody claims to have put a spell on you, then it's going to have psychological effects. But then a big part of that is granting them the authority to feel that way, right? Or you basically by choosing to believe it, you give them a level of power over you, I think, in many cases. Hello, please hit like and subscribe. No, I mean it's an apartment complex, unless the previous owners had it blessed. I'm not aware. Um, no, Space Lagoon, you're on your own in terms of crushing opponents. Well, manipulation is not witchcraft, because witchcraft is supernatural. Manipulation is simply something that people may try to engage in through psychology or other, sometimes through force. Do what I want or I will hurt you is a type of manipulation, right? You create whatever you want, Leatherface. No one can stop you. And it wouldn't be the first time groups like that have formed and tried to stop Freemasonry. Never had much success, but I wish you all the best. It wouldn't be the first time. I'm sure it won't be the last time. But I'd also suggest you maybe need to find better ways to spend your time than creating anti-Masonic groups. I mean, I'm happy with what I am right now, Catholicism, so I'm going to stick to being me. but I have no disrespect for the Catholic faith nor to any faith. I think humans evolved from a primate creature. So I think humans are primates that can speak. I don't think we're monkeys because we evolved from a common ancestor to modern monkeys. Geometry, indeed. No, that person will simply be a person who went against Freemasonry. History can judge them however they so choose. I mean, I certainly, when I visited churches, I've prayed. I like to think prayer as in the way of saying thanks to the universe for allowing me to be here, for having food, for having, a roof over my head. So there you go. Well, but we're a common ancestor with monkeys, right? Because I believe in evolution. I also believe it was stone tools that allowed us to develop our diet and evolve greater into what we are today. So there's that as well. Kentai, when you say your life has been cursed, maybe you're giving that curse more power. Maybe you need to reconsider, you know, believing in it, because doing so gives the curse, I think, more power. Yeah, I didn't have to be here. And I'm grateful that we have this universe. I'm grateful that the universe created the elements, the molecules that make me who I am. They were formed in the furnace of stars, right? That's how carbon was formed. So not a believer in evolution, huh? My suspicion, AJS unofficial, is the universe is eternal. That's my personal opinion. This isn't Masonic, because Masonic, we don't have any opinions on the universe. Every Mason has to decide for himself what he believes. My suspicion is Freemasonry is, my suspicion is the universe is eternal. You don't have to Leatherface, but you're spending a lot of time on here for someone who doesn't like Freemasonry, which makes me think you're curious about it. Watch Project Hail Mary. I think they talk about that. Oh my gosh, that's a question and a half. Again, keep in mind, I'm not speaking for Freemasonry. I'm speaking for myself. I would be pro-choice. That's my own personal opinion. One thing that people need to know about Freemasonry is we do not allow discussions of politics or religion in lodge. There are many Freemasons, and I've met some who have been pro-life, many who've been pro-choice, and many I have zero idea what their beliefs are when it comes to the question of pro-life or pro-choice. And that is completely within their right. It's not my place to tell any Mason what they should believe politically. Really? I did not know that. All right, so there you go. So there's at least one non-carbon-based life form, and that is a xenomorph. So for me, my supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through geometry, and which will value or reward us or favor us to the extent that we live in accordance with the rules of nature. I think I like the Stoic idea that happiness is to live in accordance with nature, or virtue is to live in accordance with nature. Alien is Leatherface. Oh my gosh. Alien is a wonderful movie. The original Alien from 78, 79, I think, so good. Such a good movie. I don't even know what you're talking about. 137 is 33rd prime? That can't be right. 33rd prime would be 33 times 33. Yes, Maddie. By the way, Maddie, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Zionism is a political ideology that relates to the state of Israel. Freemasonry is not political. There are some Freemasons who, may be Zionist. I would probably consider myself a Zionist, but there are many Freemasons who are not. So, I think every Mason will decide that for himself. Welcome, Maddie, right? But in the same way, there's some Freemasons who may support the government of Donald Trump or America, and some who may not. Catholicism, So Alien Romulus is an awesome movie. I would say it is the second best, with Alien being the best, although I do have a real soft spot for Alien Part 3. And I do think that's a very underrated movie. Um, yes, I got a big nose. Earth, please hit like and subscribe. If anybody's threatened or stolen from you or poisoned you, you should call the police. But Kent, I also think maybe you need to get some help. Maybe you need to talk to a professional, a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Well, then there you go. Romulus is a great movie. I liked it quite a bit. And David Johnson, who was in Romulus, he was the cyborg. He was also in The Long Walk. It was incredible in that. Um, Thank you for the sub, Earth. I very much appreciate that. I hope everybody's doing well. We're doing a bit of a marathon stream. I've done, a bunch of streams today. I've also done a bunch of stuff on my personal channel. We're going to keep doing some more. So, yeah, thank you all for being here. We are at, I'm working at getting, hopefully very soon up to 4,000 subs. And on my personal channel, I'm hoping to get maybe 500 soon. Need to do a little bit more work on that one. I might get things wrong. That's very possible, Leatherface, but I don't lie. Because to do so would make me not a good man and not honorable. So, and I try to be, as a Mason, good and honorable. Again, don't always succeed, but thank you. So Freemasons aren't going to make, there have been so many anti-Masons in the world that there are a lot of people, the world would be very substantially depopulated. It's not how it works. We're not out there. I mean, people are unfortunate. Well, I shouldn't even say unfortunately. People get to have their opinions, and if their opinion is anti-Masonic, then so be it. There's kind of not much we can do about it. Well, why HSBS? I'm sorry your neck hurts. Please hit like and subscribe. A lot missing, 80%. You think 80% of the world is missing? That seems highly doubtful. Once again, Catholicism, you're not a mod, but you'll be fine. Honestly, him being here, even though it's challenging at times, it is engagement, and that is a good thing. And if I started this channel to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located, what part of that means is dealing with the people who don't like Freemasonry, like Leatherface. Catholicism did a lot of good for the civilization and did a lot of good for the world. Now, like every organization, they did a lot of things that were not so good as well. I don't think we can pretend that it's all been smooth sailing. However, the most important thing to keep in mind is that's not a reflection on Catholicism or on the Catholic members. That's a reflection on decisions made higher up. But again, you can't look at that and say that's the fault of Catholicism, that's the fault of individuals making bad choices. In the same way, when it comes to many Freemasons, right, there have been Freemasons who've done bad things. It's unfortunate that that's the case. That doesn't reflect on Freemasonry. And I would say, though, Freemasonry is actually making great steps to try and preserve some ancestor culture. If by ancestor culture you're referencing indigenous individuals, I, for example, have tried to communicate using indigenous and First Nations languages on my summonses at times, or Masonic communications, also smudging ceremonies in various times. I've also seen eagle's feathers used in Masonic ceremonies, if that's what you mean by ancestor culture. Because I do think we in Freemasonry are in a position to try to support ancestor culture, or at least indigenous populations. We are more advanced. You're saying we evolved from Rome? I mean, okay. I would say that's an interesting genealogy you're imagining at the moment. Certainly, the Roman, I mean, I love ancient Rome and ancient Greece. So, there's that. Oh, the Roman Catholic Church? I mean, that's a heck of a tortured genealogy you're giving there, but I guess because you want to, I mean, if you want to say that, um, Constantine and stuff, but um, that's a heck of I would say, I mean, the Catholic faith, I would say, is more evolved from the Old Testament and Judaism than necessarily from is Old Testament to New Testament than from the Italians and from ancient Rome. Although, again, certainly there's a fascinating history between the Christian faith and Catholicism. All right, Leatherface, you're just going to calm down for a bit. We're going to put you in a bit of a timeout. You may have to take some medications, Kent I? And again, you're an adult. You can do what you want. I can't tell you what to do. I can simply suggest it might be worth you considering talking to a professional. Um, and again, you're an adult. You can do what you want, but it's never a bad idea to talk to a professional. Hold on, Catholicism. We are not banning anybody. I'm choosing what to do. You need to no, you need to understand Catholicism. You're not responsible or in charge of this stream. You need to calm down a little bit um, with that, right? You need to calm down with that Catholicism because you can't be coming onto streams and telling people who they should and shouldn't ban or saying we. That's how you end up getting yourself banned. So you need to calm down. Um, oh, Jethro, then get yourself to sleep. I mean, I appreciate you being here. If you want to leave a like, leave some hearts, leave a gift, leave a super chat, I'd be much obliged. But I absolutely understand if you can't stick around. Yeah, but engagement is one of those things that's tricky, right? Because one person engaging a lot, but if it turns everybody else off or away from it, it's not so much fun. So you need to keep that in mind as well. That's okay. They were a lot of fun, and I talk about them. You can go back and see the stream where I talk about them. You are in time for me to talk about some poetry, which I planned to do that earlier, but I've just been chatting. So, no, he didn't. Upstate. No, he didn't. Well, I mean, it may have been that you just weren't ready to join Freemasonry. Maybe it was appropriate, right? So, um, you need to keep that in mind. Yes, One Door Three does. I guess he put some of it up on YouTube. So check out his channel if you enjoy it. This isn't an endorsement. Check out his channel and let me know what you think of it. Nice. How long of a break do you get, Jethro? How long will the break be altogether? Oh, nice. Any plans? Going on vacation? What's the plan for the break? Interesting in terms of the votes as well. Favorite Masonic poet, we're at. Oh, Rudyard Kipling is at 37. Then it's like a tie for second place. Robbie Burns at 22, John Johann Wolfgang at 22, Rob Morris at 20. That's interesting. Hey, man, it sounds like you've earned it. So by all means, enjoy your 3 weeks and catch up on your sleep. It absolutely sounds like you have it coming. I still don't know what that means, 1MOA. What I'd rather gain right now is subscribers and super chats and likes. So help a brother out. I read the Bible ages ago, unofficial. I've also read parts of the Quran, translated, obviously. Um, but it's been a while. I'd like to do it again, though. I'd like to get back into and better at reading the holy books. They want to be conversant in the faith of different Masons. Um, because I could be sitting next to a Muslim, Christian, Jewish person, whatever it might be. So I've never read The Imitation of Christ. I'm not sure what that would be. Again, I'm not particularly religious myself, but every Mason will have his or her, for that matter, exclusive or and personal religious beliefs. I want to be able to be at least conversant in them and respectful of them. So it requires to be a Freemason, you have to be of the correct age. Normally, in most jurisdiction, it's over 18, although it can be over 21, like in Ontario. You have to believe in a supreme being. However, the nature of the supreme being is personal and up to you. And you need to approach the lodge of your own free will and express your interest in joining. After that, there's an application process you go through where they'll get to know more about you. They'll get to talk to you, learn about why you want to join. They may ask about criminal history, problems you've had in your life, good things happening in your life, and the lodge will then make a vote and decide whether to accept you or not. But you got to go through the application process. And you have to go to that application process of your own free will and accord. Underground drive. What's an underground driver? Like subway? The L? Well, the weights experience, I get it. I mean, I don't always like to be around people, and sometimes I can be pretty judgmental of people. But what I would say is maybe it's worth reconsidering your view of people. No one's saying you have to take your meds, Kentai. No one's saying you have to take meds, excuse me. What I am saying is you should talk to a doctor and take their ideas and take their prescriptions and take their thoughts into account because they went to medical school. They probably know something. So it's 65K, everyone. Well, good for you on that. And now take a break and relax. And you've earned it. They do. And I love the rational nature of the universe, including geometry, triangulation, prime numbers. I think that stuff is awesome. Ah, so you're getting older, just like me. Well, I think many ancient texts use some type of cryptography. I can't speak for it specifically. I think Wes Huff is somebody who seems to know a lot about that stuff. Well, then just hang out here with us, but maybe not so negative. If so, then I'm hoping Jericho will give me a good super chat. Again, I don't want to be giving medical advice on this stream. I think the best thing, the most important thing is respect that everybody is an adult and gets to make their own decisions, but also strongly encourage everybody to listen to their doctors. Do what the doctors tell you is what I would recommend. They went to medical school. They know what they're talking about. Well, Jethro, don't forget, depending where you are in Ontario, March 28th, 2026, so basically 6 days from now, Saturday morning, we are having a community services fair at the Windsor Masonic Temple, 986 Olette Avenue. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. Free admission, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm hoping, Jethro, you can join us. It'll be a lot of fun. I don't know what part of Ontario you're in, but it's in Windsor at the Windsor Masonic Temple. I think it's possible for anybody of almost any age to have traumatic experiences, but I also think it's important that we just focus on what we can do to create a better life for ourselves. I mean, the less willing people are to do the work, the more dangerous the work is. Hopefully, you would hope the better it would pay. But also, every job is important. All labor is skilled labor, in my humble opinion. That includes even streaming, which is not as easy as people think it is. Hello, Nam. Welcome back. It's been a little while since I've seen you. Good to see you here. I would be interested to know that as well. I would assume you would need a license first and foremost, right? Um, before anything else. And then I'm guessing you get tested and get a specific type of license. Oh, I can imagine. It sounds like a very tough job, but also good for you for doing it. And if you're saving your money and you're saving your money well, then hopefully what that means is you'll be able to retire early. Maybe take on another part-time job just for fun. How long does the training take, Jethro, roughly speaking? I think sometimes people who are, you know, like if their positivity is in your face, it can be a bit much. I think ultimately what you need to do is if you are around somebody who's not doing well, you don't have to be positive. You don't have to sit there and tell them cheer up. You just have to be there and listen. Now it's hard to do that on a stream in the nature of communication via streams, but I definitely think if you know somebody who's struggling, just talk to them. Don't even talk to them, just sit with them. Just be present. That might be good enough. And it'll probably get you further than, telling them, wagging your finger, telling them cheer up. Um, I am in the Scottish Rite. I am an 18th degree Scottish Rite member. No, I have no interest in starting my own religion at all. That is not my place. Um, I don't talk specifically about rituals, XT, of any sort. What I always say is within Freemasonry, there are no rituals that are illegal, immoral, or against one's civic, religious, or familial responsibilities. You know what, Minnie? You definitely did not because I have no feet. I have no legs. So I don't know what email you think you got, but I am asking you to hit the like and subscribe button. What is the fundamental principle of reality? That there is a rational understanding of reality, or that reality can be understood in a rational manner. I think that's the most fundamental principle. Um, Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Once again, please take a moment, hit that like button and that subscribe button. I mean, I've been in those situations as well, the way it's experienced, where I've been going out and I realize I'm the oldest person in the room. It's a very sad moment. Um, yes, I have no legs, Mini Jim, and if you've been following my stream at all, you would know that. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I would be grateful. Consider a super chat, just 99 cents. Upstate, you can get kicked out. It's called suspended. The most likely reason would be non-payment of dues. But also, let's say, for example, you were to commit a criminal offense, you'd be kicked out of Freemasonry because you would not be good and honorable. It depends on the nature of the offense, obviously. If you act in a particularly disruptive or bad manner in a meeting, it's possible, but they probably wouldn't kick you out. They'd probably just talk with you first. So it depends. No, Catholicism, you're going to be gone pretty soon if you keep threatening people. This isn't your stream. This is my stream. I've given you a lot of leeway because Jason wasn't, threatening people, and Jason's been pretty chill. Also, I think Jason might also be a member, so if I recall correctly. And thank you for being a member as well. Anybody who is, I'm grateful. I would like you to hit the like and subscribe button. And to everybody watching this, please hit like and subscribe. Whether I was or not gay is irrelevant. There are many Freemasons. Some are gay, some are straight. Freemasonry does not discriminate based on one's sexual orientation. And thank you, Jason, for being a member. Thank you, Michael Moore, for being a member. We have many members. I'm grateful for all of them. The Supreme Being is whatever you as a Mason believe it is. If you're Christian, it will likely be Jesus or the Trinity, especially if you're Jewish, it's, I believe, Yahweh, if I got the term correct. If you are Muslim, it would be Allah. If you're Indigenous or First Nations, it might be like the Creator or nature. It just depends on the nature of your beliefs. It's a placeholder. I mean, XTC, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but you are wrong. They are not evil. And I guess, the extent to which you believe they are, I'm like to think that my 20 years of Freemasonry would indicate the opposite, and my personality and who I am would indicate the opposite. But I cannot, I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm just here to give my opinions, my involvement, my explanations. What I'm also here to do right now is go to the washroom because I have to go like crazy. So I'm going to give you guys my co host in one moment. If you want to give him a name, please feel free. I'll be right back. And Godspeed. Answer your question when I return. Oh my God. I got to reach down for it. This person is in charge when I'm gone. This is my moose. Be nice to him. Do not be cruel. Yes, the moose is loose. He's watching you carefully. I'll be back in a moment. Please hit like and subscribe while I'm gone. Okay, I'm back. That's the moose. Yes, he looks into your soul. I don't know if, um, let's see, if Godspeed is still there. I don't discuss specifics of Masonic rituals, right? I've talked about why I don't in the past. Um, there's three reasons. First, consider it like a family recipe, right? Within Freemasonry, we have our rituals. If it's no different than having a family recipe. The reason you keep a family recipe private, the reason you keep a family recipe um, within the family is because maintaining those shared knowledge is a way to maintain the bonds between the past and future generations of the family, including those family members who may be gone. Within Freemasonry, we don't have we don't have recipes, we have our Masonic rituals. And the shared knowledge of those rituals is a way to bond past, present, and future generations of Freemasons. Also, no two Masonic rituals are the same from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. You go from Michigan to Illinois, the ritual changes. And as a result, if I start to tell you about Masonic rituals in Ontario, you're going to go into different Masonic meetings with certain expectations. And if they're not met, you're going to be disappointed. Happiness equals reality minus expectation. So, what you need to remember and you need to keep in mind is if you're joining Freemasonry, you don't want to go in with expectations. You want to go in for the experience, not the expectation. And the third thing is to join Freemasonry, there is a leap of faith involved on both sides. There's a leap of faith in terms of there's a leap of faith for the lodge bringing somebody new into the craft. There's a leap of faith for the person joining. Providing information specific about the rituals is equivalent to providing spoilers, and it takes away from that leap of faith. I mean, Freemasonry has got its stuff out of everything. Freemasonry took some of its stuff out of architectural orders. It took some of its stuff out of Enlightenment era philosophy. Primarily, what it took from was stone masonry and stone Masonic guilds. But it absolutely took things from a variety of sources, from Islam, heck, from Chinese mythology, from Christianity, from a variety Egyptian mysticism. It's kind of the nature of Freemasonry, which to me always made sense. I mean, you know, why reinvent the wheel or reinvent the stone block if you've already got people who've done it? So that's my humble opinion on that. All right, I'm going to just get this set up, trying to get my camera set. One of the hardest things about streaming, honestly, it seems like a little thing, is trying to get the camera, like the charger, to work. How does that look? Can you guys see me? I think we're okay. If I ever have any technical difficulties at any point during the stream, I promise I will be back on. So don't worry, unless I say I'm finishing for the night or something. And then I'll finish for the night. But for right now, we're going to keep it going. I hope everybody is still doing well. Thank you all for being here. Well, so we don't worship XTC. Freemasonry is not worshiping because it's not a religion. When we talk about a great architect or an architect, we're talking about basically a stand-in for whatever it is that you may believe. So if you're Christian, the architect to you will likely be Jesus, right? If you're Muslim, it's not a religious figure, like a particular religious figure. Okay, I'll be back in just one moment. I need to get myself some water, and then I'm going to start reading some Masonic poems. Fox Watch, did you hit the like and subscribe button? That's the question. So Freemasonry is not political. There are Freemasons who may support Trump, many who don't. I can't speak for them. I can speak for myself and say I'm not a huge fan of Trump myself. I mean, not literally, obviously, there's no pillars holding up the earth, but metaphorically, I think so. Sure, why not? Wisdom, strength, beauty, kindness, charity. You could all argue those are, there's certainly pillars, those are pillars holding up society. I mean, we're going to see what happens, Fox Watch. Well, the cornerstone, it's a metaphor. Again, I mean, literally, what the cornerstone is the first stone used when building a new building, right? It's the first stone you place down. Metaphorically, it's kind of the foundation on which everything rests, right? So if somebody is a cornerstone, what it means is they are the foundation of the organization. Answers to what? I don't know if I missed something that you said above, but I think I've been giving you pretty decent answers. Though you may not enjoy them, and if you don't like my answers, then so be it, right? What can you do? So I've heard that before, and I mean, to my understanding, I always thought of Jesus as being exclusively a carpenter, but I guess based on more recent biblical interpretation, he actually was closer to a stonemason, right, than simply a carpenter, which I thought was really cool. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not a biblical expert, but there you go. I mean, the Greeks have pillars, the Romans have pillars. I don't know if the Egyptians had them or not. I mean, certainly during the time of Rome, they would have had architecture that included pillars, right? I've heard that. Yeah, I don't remember what part that is, but again, it's a metaphor, right? He's not literally a stone, but metaphorically, it means he's the foundation on which the building or the temple is built. So these poems are, I would say, revealing, educational, interesting. Why am I reading them? Because yesterday, technically, was World Poetry Day. So I want to read two poems by Maria Matusik. She is an internationally published poet, and she composed two poems for me upon my request. But I don't think they're literal, right? I don't think the Bible meant them literally. At least that's my assumption. Let's see if I can make sure to get this set properly. All right, here we go. So this is the first poem, Conversations with the Master of Lodge. Once I walked, and then I fell, and four people passed by as I sat crumpled on rain-damp asphalt before an elderly gentleman stopped and extended his hand, and I doubted his strength to raise me, and yet when he braced his feet to pull my weight, I rose like steam, and it was effortless. His strength, and he saw plain the shock on my face, and the laugh he made was a song. The strength of 50 men I've always got behind me, he winked. And behind those 50, well. So I followed when he walked away. Why do you come here? I asked him as we sat in the temple to meet upon this level. As we were walking out shoulder to shoulder in somber quiet, his hand slipped into his pocket and then tucked a stone into my palm. I pursed my lips, stared at it a moment. A token, I guessed. Let me just see if we can get this a bit better. He chuckled again, a bell bright against the evening chill. Each of us takes in his hands a stone to work, he explained to me, and we go to our homes and tend our own, and then each brother returns his work here with him to this altar. And he sets it down, and one stone at a time, we make a mountain, and it's ours to move. I disbelieve, I said to him the following week. The man shrugged, casual. Then you must save the world yourself. I can't, I said, the flatness of my voice rising to meet a question at the end. You needn't lift these heavy tools your first day, he replied. If there is disbelief, then it is up to us to work the world into goodness. He paused, smirked. You might say you don't believe, but your actions betray those words. Did I pick this stone up off the ground myself, or did you hand it to me? I countered after a bitter pause. That's the difference. No, and he put his hand over mine before I could speak again, and the tenderness rocked in my chest. No, it matters only that you work. The stone cares not whether it was seized or delivered, only that it is shaped. A steady trickle of water will shape it profoundly as a chisel, given time, and all rough edges will be made soft beneath careful fingers. I came back again. The man gestured to the square and compass perched above the doorframe like a sentry. You could go any direction the compass points, and you will never be lost. There is no door bearing the symbol where you be turned away, over the entirety of the earth. Everywhere you go, you will find home. Many years later, we met again, his skin folded around his eyes, that glittered in recognition when he saw me. Aren't you the man I pulled up from the sidewalk, he asked. No, I replied, smiled to myself. I am better. Maria Matusik. And her other poem, which I like very much as well, is Jesus was in Egypt, at least that's what the historical sources say. A poem that was recited September 2017. Lavi, please hit like and subscribe. This is called An Ode to the Freemasons gathered here today. Walk onward, brothers, arm in arm, towards the giants rising in your midst. Together you form a chain, which will ensure the monsters of poverty and intolerance. Your line taught, unyielding to the false gods, that feed the starving masses in your streets. For you care not who is the creator, God or man, the goal is simply to strive. For you hold tight, and dear you are stone. And one of you cannot sink if his brothers hold him tight. Whom but God could wrench the wounded man from your embrace? and you march forward toward an ever receding horizon. But the point is, you march, and you do not stop. And those who cannot march of their own accord, you carry, and the cornerstone too weighs upon your shoulders. The one you brought with you here today, the one you set down as a reminder, that one bears the weight of the whole, that there may or may not be a final stair, but still you keep climbing, because the rain falls with equal benediction on you all. Maria Matusik. Um, yes, get yourself to sleep. But Catholicism, it was wonderful to have you here once again. I don't think you were created in a lab. I think you're a human being, created however human beings are created. But nonetheless, all right. I also want to read Mother Lodge by Rudyard Kipling, which is a really great poem as well. Oops. All right. I'm going to read this as well. There was Rundle, station master, and Beasley of the rail, and Ackman commissarant, and Donkin o' the jail. And Blake conduct sergeant, our master twice was he, with him that kept the Europe shop, old Framji Edgely. Outside sergeant, sir, salute, salam, inside brother, and it doesn't do no harm. We meet upon the level, and we parted on the square, and I was a junior deacon in my mother lodge out there. We'd bowl a Nath accountant, and Saul the Aden Jew, and Din Mohammed Droughtsman of the survey office too. There was Babu Chakrabarti and Amir Singh the Sikh, and Castro from the Fitton Sheds, the Roman Catholic. We ought good regalia, and our lodge was old and bare, but we knew the ancient landmarks, and we kept them up to hair. And looking on it backwards, it often strikes me thus, there ain't such thing as infidels, except perhaps it's us. For monthly after labor, we'd all sit down and smoke. We durst give no banquets, lest a brother's case were broke. And man on man got talking, religion and the rest, and every man comparing of the God he knew the best. So man on man got talking, and no, not a brother stirred, till morning walked the parrots and that damn brain fever bird. We'd say 'twas rightly curious, and we'd all ride home to bed, with Mohammed, God, and Shiva changing pickets in our head. Full oft of government service this roving foot hath pressed, and bore fraternal greetings to the lodges east and west. Accorded as commanded from Kohat to Singapore, but I wish that I might see them in my mother lodge once more. I wish that I might see them, my brethren black and brown, with the tritches smelling pleasant, and the hog darn passing down, and the old Kansama snoring on the bottle can of floor, like a master in good standing, with my mother lodge once more. Outside, sergeant, sir, salute, salam, inside, brother, and it doesn't do no harm. We met upon the level, we parted on the square, and I was junior deacon in my mother lodge out there. No, we do not swear to the light bringer. That is something that maybe you read out of Morals and Dogma, but you were incorrect. XT, it depends on the Mason and what his beliefs are. I've seen eagle feathers used, I've seen Qurans, I've seen Torahs, I've even heard of gems being used. So there you go. It's no different than in a court of law. You can swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on a Bible. You can swear on a different item as well. It depends on the Mason and what his beliefs are. A volume of the sacred law is not optional, but the nature of it is more optional. Hello, Kentai. I mean, Aleister Crowley was almost certainly a clandestine Mason, meaning not a legitimate Mason. Well, mathematics, sweat, effort, time, resources. When you're the pharaoh and people consider you to be some type of god, and it's possible for you to order people to do what you want or face death, then yeah, it's very possible to get people to, you know, do a lot of things and be willing to risk their lives almost to keep you happy. Well, I've been going on and off, but this has been a long stream. I'll be jumping off and jumping back on. On the 21st of the month, I tend to do these marathon streams where I don't go for 24 hours straight anymore, but I do go for a long period of time. So, and it's been a lot of fun, Andy. Um, Krista Lawton said hi. Hello, Krista Houghton. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. Um, so those are just some Masonic poems from the Kipling. That's from the Kipling Society. I may this Christmas for members of the Patreon providing sending the poem, a signed copy of the poem as a gift. So yes, enjoy it and hit the like button indeed. Albert Pike was a Freemason. He was a member of the Southern Jurisdiction of Scottish Rite. He was also a Freemason. I can't remember what his lodges were, though. I don't remember if he even joined in Boston. I think he joined when he moved to Nebraska. So one of Robbie Burns' Masonic poems. Um, this is from the Skirret. Um, let's see. To a mouse on turning her up in her nest with the plow, we skelet cowrin Timrose beastie, oh what a panic's in thy breasty, thou need na start away so hasty with bickering brattle. I wade be laith to rin and chase thee, we murdering paddle. That is him on the farm, rural life. Did not like the mice, which again, it's one of those things where they probably were a nuisance. Right? The following farewell is the gem of Burns' Masonic poetry. It was written when his Eminem's a great poet, no one insurance. Please hit like and subscribe. I am a master mason. I'm currently a worshipful master. I'm also 18th degree Scottish Rite. The following farewell is the germ of Burns' Masonic poetry. It was written when his arrangements for leaving the country were complete, and he was expecting to enter upon his journey immediately. I've met plenty of Asian Freemasons, sure. His relations with the brethren of the St. James Lodge seem to have been a particularly enjoyable nature, and the parting would have been a sorrowful one for all of them. The separation, however, was spared them, but the farewell verse remains for the enjoyment of all Masons. Adieu, a heart warm fond adieu, dear brothers of the mystic tie, ye favored enlightened few, companions of my social joy. Though I, though I to foreign lands must hie, pursuing fortune's sliddery by, with melting heart and brimful eye, I'll mind you still, though far away. Oft I have met your social band, and spent the cheerful festive night, oft honored with supreme command, presided over the sons of light, and by that hieroglyphic blight, which none but craftsmen ever saw, strong memory on my heart shall write those happy scenes when far away. May freedom, harmony, and love unite you in the grand design, beneath the omniscient eye above, the glorious architect divine, that you may keep the unerring line, still rising by the plummet's law, till order bright completely shine, shall be my prayer when far away. And you farewell, whose merits claim justly that highest badge to wear. Heaven bless your honored noble name. To Masonry and Scotia dear, a last request permit me here. When yearly ye assemble one round I ask it with a tear, to him the bard that's far away. There you go. I'm 18th degree, XT, 18th degree. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great Masonic poems, and yesterday technically, was World Poetry Day. So I wanted to share those with you. And again, members of the Patreon, for your correspondence at Christmas, you may be getting some of these poems signed by the author, which should be really cool, and should be a lot of fun. Thank you. I mean, I spend so much of my time talking, I should be able to speak well, one would hope, anyways. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job right, that's for sure. Well, the Aesop fables would come way before Freemasonry, but they're very valuable. I think the tortoise and the hare is probably the most famous of the Aesop fables. Thank you. I mean, it's interesting. I found this new tool which actually it AI and it judges how well you speak. So that's really fun. um, and really enjoyable. And it gives you advice on how to speak better. It'll give you prompts. It'll say like, describe the benefits of a minimalist life. And then what it will do is, after you do that for 1 minute, it'll analyze your vocabulary, the clarity with which you spoke, how you spoke, pauses you used, and it'll give you advice on how to make things better, which I think is really awesome. So, yeah, it's been really fun. Thank you for that, Space Legume. Um, I enjoy, I definitely enjoy reading, so maybe it would make sense. It'd be worth trying, probably. Yeah, I think like everything, it's one of those things where it's kind of up to I mean, AI is simply the tool, right? How we are using it, that's the key. That's what matters. That's the most important thing. What does the Birdman with eggs? Oh, I think you're talking about the rose quad pelican, right? Um, I think, because you say bird, oh, mean with the eggs? Hold on just 1 second. Yeah, I think you're talking about the pelican. I mean, it's meant to represent, I would say, the best way to think about it is to think about it as being a provider, right? Because the rose quad is providing to its nest. So, in a way, you can think about it as the provider, the eternal provider, the provider to us here on Earth. It's not masonry per se. It's what you might consider the grand or the great architect. Um, I think Waylon Jennings was a Freemason. I don't know for sure, but I think Waylon Jennings was a Freemason. So think about it as being a provider. Now, if you want to look at it in the Christian faith, you may consider the pelican to be of the Christian, God or Jesus as a provider, but you don't have to view it that way. It's more about just being a provider. It's a really pretty emblem as well. I'm not nearly as active in Scottish Rite as I am in the, the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry. So, and that's my focus. Hello from Wyoming, Thomas. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Um, oh, it's beautiful. No, I agree. It's a really pretty, really beautiful emblem. That's for sure. George Carlin was a Freemason? I did not know that. Let me double check. I know? I do not know Steve from Blues Clues. I don't know if he's a Freemason or not. So George Carlin was not a Freemason. I didn't think he was. So 80 degrees Fahrenheit? Oh, it's getting way too hot for this time of year. I'm a bit concerned about how warm it keeps getting, to be honest. Um, I would like it to not be 80 degrees in March. I remember when spring used to be a lot cooler. Um, I mean, I don't think that's true for governments. Now, it might be true for some individuals within government, but I ultimately am not a conspiracy theorist about governments or about Freemasonry. I think ultimately there is no higher level within Freemasonry, this idea of what you're thinking. So, El Shaddai is nourisher is part of the meaning of the name. This is one of my shirts. I should have worn this on St. Patrick's Day because it's green, but hey, live and learn. All right, we're gonna just hang out for a little bit longer. Then I'll be ending this stream, but I will be back on maybe in a few hours or so, because again, I try to do these 24-hour streams if I can. I think Freemasonry is great for camaraderie and it's great to meet people. Now, again, it's not the exclusive way. You can meet people in many different ways. Freemasonry is simply one way of many. But yeah, it's a great way to do so, without a doubt, without question. I mean, the better question is, do you think Freemasonry is good camaraderie and good for meeting people based on what you've learned about it? I mean, that's a good way to look at it. One door three. Yeah, just it's nourishment, right? Think about it in terms of nourishment. That's the key, right? So we are just hanging out, waiting to see who else joins. No particular topics, just chatting. But I do want to say thank you to everybody who's here. I mean, I would think zero chance or close to zero chance. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but I've never seen he would have to be a Mason first to be Eastern Star. So I've never seen any evidence that he was an a Freemason, let alone an Eastern Star. Um, I mean, I know very little about it as well. I don't even know if it would technically be a religion or just a philosophy that kind of falls under the umbrella of a certain type of Christianity. Certainly Albert Pike, if he wasn't one, he had a lot of ideas that were related to it. That they remember? I mean, sure, people do, and they have the right to. But I would say if you become a celebrity, usually it's found out pretty quickly because someone will say something at some point. Um, but there are people who prefer to keep it private and prefer to keep their masonry a secret. So that can happen for sure. Again, to me, it's one of those things where I love talking about it. So I've never really understood the idea of people keeping it quiet, but everybody has the right to decide for themselves if they want to keep it quiet or want to talk about it. So I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind as well. Please don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for being here. I will be ending this stream soon. I will be back on later. Again, during these days, it's kind of a 24-hour-ish stream. I go on and off throughout the day. And it's been wonderful. We're getting a lot of people checking us out. Thank you so much for that. Consider some super chats, consider some gifts. I hope you enjoyed the Masonic poems, and I hope you enjoyed me talking about the movies. Is Kirk Hawley a Freemason? I don't know who Kirk Hawley is. Um, I mean, if anybody was taking advantage of you, Kentai, then I'm very sorry. It would suck to be taken advantage of, obviously. I think we all recognize that. And I made it over 3,700 subs as well, so I'm grateful for that also. Oof, my stomach is growling. Yes, I agree. Shame on those people. We are going to give it a couple more. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and consider some of those gifts, some of those jewels. All that stuff is very much appreciated and helps me big time. Also, consider becoming a patron. You can even become one for free. Um, I mean, it could have been a coincidence. It doesn't mean that anything was special about the coin, right? You need to keep that in mind. I guess it depends on if you believe in the supernatural or not. But having said that, the fact that things went wrong in your life at all, I think sucks. I'm very sorry about that. A Korean baby, have you been here before? If you haven't, I hope you'll hit the like button. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. He was a painter, right? From Spain? So Salvador Dali is sometimes mentioned in lists of notable people who joined Masonic lodges. There is limited direct academic evidence confirming he was active or formal in Freemasonry. Um, well, thank you for that. I don't think he was. I mean, he could have been. I just don't know if I ever heard any evidence that he was before. I mean, it's very possible for people, and I always tell people this, you need to remember and you need to keep in mind just because somebody claims that they're a Freemason or even uses Masonic symbolism or has a Masonic ring, it doesn't mean that they are necessarily Freemasons, right? You need to remember that. You can buy those rings, people know the symbols, so just keep that in mind. And let's see if we can get some more comments on my videos as well. If you guys get the chance, if once I'm done here, you want to stick around and comment on my videos. Shaquille O'Neal is a Freemason. He was actually made a Mason on site. But to his credit, he seems to be one who talks about it frequently, really seems to love talking about it. So I think that's great. You know, more power to him, that's for sure. And it's wonderful to see um, it's just wonderful to see uh, somebody, like I said, somebody be a Mason and be proud of his Masonry. So Mason on site means basically the Grand Master of the jurisdiction allows you to call yourself a Mason and have Masonic membership without going through the degrees or the application process. Not every jurisdiction recognizes it. It depends on the jurisdiction you're in, but it is a really cool thing. So yeah. Um, Many Masons can be hermits as well. You can be both. There's no rule that says it's one or the other, just for the record. Lemon_pilgrim. I'm the third. I can't count to save my life, so I guess I'm the second and the third. I'm the worst at math and all that stuff, so there you go. Once again, I hope everybody is doing well. Counting is good. Yeah, I have. Manly P. Hall was involved in it. A lot of people think Manly P. Hall himself was a Freemason. He was, but he did not, he joined later in life. When he wrote The Secret Teachings of All Ages, at that point, he was not yet a Freemason. So you need to remember that. A lot of people, I think, mistake it or believe that he was a Freemason all the way through. So you need to take what he wrote with a grain of salt. But you should take everything with a grain of salt. You should take the things I say with a grain of salt as well. Prince Hall Lodges refers to, so Prince Hall was a gentleman. He applied to join, he was a black gentleman. He applied to join Freemasonry in Boston, and he was initially denied by the lodge because of his race. And so he got together with 12 other black men, and eventually, through England, well, first through Ireland, then through England, started his own Masonic group called Prince Hall Freemasonry, which was for black men who were experiencing discrimination but wanted to join a Masonic lodge or wanted to be part of a fraternal group. It is a very valuable part of the craft. In 2026, the distinction is really doesn't exist. There are white Prince Hall Masons. I've sat in lodge with many black, AF and AM or accepted Freemasons, which is the group I'm a part of. But it is historical remembrance of a time when black men faced discrimination and created Prince Hall as a way to escape from it, as well as to create a mutual support network, a mutual support system, and develop the bonds of brotherhood. And Prince Hall is an incredibly valuable part of Freemasonry and part of the Masonic family. Louis Armstrong was a Freemason. That is true. Jason, you do what you think is best. I'm the worst person to give relationship advice. So the Mormons are not associated directly. Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon Church, was a Freemason. To my knowledge, he took kind of Masonic ideas and brought them into the Mormon faith. But I can't really judge him too harshly for that because Freemasonry took things from many different groups and organizations and brought them into Freemasonry. So it's that old expression, good masons borrow, great masons steal. Hello, Daniel Barry Sports. It's not Saturday anymore. It's now Sunday, 2 a.m. But please hit like, please hit subscribe. I would be grateful. Um, Vegan, I have spaghetti as well. You should finish your spaghetti if you want to. I will leave it up to you to decide. I think the whole universe is symmetry, right? I think the beauty of the universe is seen in symmetry. I've never been to Baltimore, but I want to go. I hear there's really cool Freemasonry in Baltimore, so it's on my list of places I want to go for sure. I do usually get my eight. I don't think I'm going to get it tonight, but I try to get my 8 hours of sleep. I mean, I think a lot of Masons are into a lot of different things, right? Freemasonry is not a religion and it encourages people to enjoy, review, and check out and be part of their own faith, their own interests, their own beliefs, whatever it might be. Um, I mean, I've been in places I was always told that aren't safe, like the Philippines, Rio, Colombia. Never felt unsafe. Loved being in Colombia. Thought it was an incredible place. So. But I think travel in general, um, it's really important to keep in mind that wherever you're traveling, even if you're traveling to a quote unquote safe place, be smart, be intelligent. Be smart, be intelligent, watch your surroundings. I talked a lot in the past about tips for traveling safely. Register with the government so they know you're going and where you're going. And they can get you, you know, contact if they need it, if there's an emergency. Have copies of all of your passport information and travel documentation. Be up to date on your vaccinations for where you need to go for your safety and the safety of others. Um, Pay attention to your surroundings. Keep your cell phone charged. I mean, when you're trapped, be polite, respectful to the authorities, including customs agents, including the people who make the travel possible, the flight attendants, the flight crew. They're all working for you to get you where you need to go, to get you where you need to go safely. So you need to be respectful of them. When you travel, you're representing Freemasonry, especially if you are a traveler. If you are a Mason, you're representing Freemasonry, and the way you treat others will be a reflection on the craft. I mean, hey, I love Tabasco sauce, so I can't judge that at all. I love hot sauce. I love Tabasco sauce. I think that stuff is awesome, possum. Tabasco on eggs, that's the key, right? That is absolutely the key. I don't know if I'm always intelligent, but I do think I have a pretty good, let's call it TQ, travel quotient, instead of IQ or EQ. When it comes to travel, I'm pretty decent and pretty smart at knowing how to travel. Padre Matt, I can't pronounce that. I'm gonna call you Padre 3530. How's it going? Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Classical rock musicians, I mean Mozart, Louis Armstrong, Brad Paisley. Those are apathy, modern times. Those are the ones I can think of who are Freemasons and musicians. Nat King Cole, if I recall correctly, um, as well. So. I would not say most music. I mean, some music, but it's the exception, not the rule. Thank you, Korean, A Korean Baby. I appreciate that. Thank you for the like and subscribe. Okay, maybe that is how it looks. I mean, my suspicion is the universe is, um, I've known, I think the universe is infinite, which I guess would mean it's completely flat in terms of its shape, right? I don't think it would be like it'd be anything else, but there may be regions that look like a hurricane. Certainly, our Milky Way is a spiral galaxy, to my understanding. Um, Ghost pepper spaghetti. Yes, that one would hurt. Drumple, you get used to it. Believe me, you get used to it, for better or worse. No, no, I'm not going to knock him from putting in Tabasco. As someone who loves Tabasco, I might even try it. I'm going to ruin everybody's life now. I might even give it a shot. What do you think about that, Jason? I may put Tabasco. I have spaghetti in the fridge right now. And I think I have Tabasco sauce in there as well. A lot of them sold. I mean, I think, and now I'm stepping over my skis, by the way, quite substantially on this. I think that when it comes to your soul, which I have my own definition of the soul, to me, the soul is that part of yourself that cannot be measured, yet is equal to every other person's same part. So what I mean by that is, look, you can measure a bunch of different aspects of me, and you are not going to find any two people with those same measurements. So you measure my height, everybody else has a different height. Even if we're close to the same height, at the most, millimeter level, we have different heights. We have different weights. We have different slightly eye colors, different skin colors, different hair colors, different biceps. Mine are super big, right? You can see this here. Look at these big biceps. All of that stuff, though, is different and it measures different. And yet, we all know on some level that there is something within us that is actually equal, despite our height, our age, our skin color, our hair color, our bicep size. I am equal to One Door 3. I am equal to Jason. I am equal to Drumple. And it's the equality we cannot measure. It is the part within us that cannot be measured, and yet we know is equal to the same part in the person next to you, or the next country, or the next continent. I think that is what the soul is. I mean, as confidently as possible, I think so, Drumple. I don't know if that type of theological question anybody can say with 100% certainty, but by the same certainty, I don't know if I could 100% say we're not in heaven. I just don't know what they would look like, right? Maybe this is the best of all possible worlds. Um, Vegan, you live your life. I'm going to put Tabasco on my spaghetti. Now, the key is, are you putting ketchup on your hot dog? Because if you're putting ketchup on your hot dog, that's a big problem. No ketchup on the hot dog. As someone who loves Chicago, I am calling you out. Do not do that. No, Jason, you are wrong. As somebody who loves Chicago and considers Chicago to be kind of my adopted town, no, do not put ketchup on a hot dog. You are doing it wrong. Hello, Uncle Anderson? Please hit like and subscribe. Oh, Jason. You know what? I'm not going to ban you because you're a good person and I like you very much, but you have got it completely wrong on this account. You never, you can get vegan hot dogs, vegan for, I've seen vegan hot dogs. I don't know if they're good or not. I never tried them. I like Voltaire. Voltaire is one of my absolute favorite philosophers. Um, I mean, if anybody's spying on you, you should contact the police, but can't I really think you need to talk to a professional, more so than anything else. I mean, I do think the spiritual stuff can be very dangerous. We need to be really careful um, about it, right? And I do worry that sometimes spirituality can become an excuse for people to believe foolish things and to not use their reason. I don't want to knock anybody's spiritual beliefs, but I think you need to be, as you do need to with anything, you need to take a level of caution towards it. Um, my thoughts on gay marriage, Michael. Well, first of all, my most important thought is you should hit the like and subscribe button. But in terms of gay marriage, I have been to gay weddings. I support it. Good for them. Gay people have the right to be miserable just like anybody else, was a joke I heard once and I really liked. I mean, I will accept dipping pizza in garlic sauce. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I am not a believer in ketchup on hot dogs. I say no, sir. I say no, sir. I've never done World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I do believe you can find me online if you go to Masonic Temple 519, if I recall correctly. Or Temple Masonic 519, but when I'm playing like Dead Space or when I'm playing Assassin's Creed, I will at some point double check and leave it on this stream because it could be fun to play with others at some point, especially from this stream. Um, and Chronic Carlos, thank you for being here once again. I hope you're having an excellent night. Thank you for all the likes. We made it to over 3,730 subs. I'm hoping to get to 4,000 shortly. That's my goal. I'm about 270 away. So share this stream with others. Like, subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. So again, Michael, you're asking me political questions. You need to remember Freemasonry is not political. Um, I'm feeling it, Chronic. Freemasonry is not political. So different Masons will have different views on abortion. Some will support it, some will not support it. I can speak for myself personally, which is I'm pro choice. But there are many Masons who may have different opinions, and many Masons who may have no opinions. Um, well, yes, yours truly. I'm up both late and early. So I worship Satan. That's a heck of a thing to say. But all right. I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe about me. Doesn't affect the truth of me. Having said that, I'm still grateful you're here. I hope you hit the like button. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. We'll be ending this stream soon, but I'm going to be doing more content stuff, streaming more, so you'll find me again soon enough. Um, and it's been a lot of fun. This stream has been a blast. I would say for me, it's following the rational nature of the universe, right? I really like the Stoic idea that to be virtuous is to live in accordance with nature. Just because you believe something doesn't mean it's wise. That is absolutely true. That is 100% the case, right? To believe something does not equal wise. All right, well, so enough. Good enough, Michael. Though I would say maybe you want to reconsider your thoughts a little bit. Apu, Sammy, I am Canadian. Are you a subscriber? That's a better question. Born and raised in Winnipeg, currently live in Windsor, Ontario. And I'm grateful. Um, I love Canada, in my opinion, greatest country in the world, in part because we have the greatest neighbors in the world. I don't worship the earth, but the Stoics would not have considered nature to be the earth exclusively. That's not how it works. They would have considered nature to be the universe, both the earth itself and those things outside of the earth. Um, I need not believe in God. I know Carl Jung. Carl Jung is an excellent philosopher, psychiatrist. I actually don't know what he was. I think he was more a psychiatrist or a psychologist, right? The Jungian architects. The path not traveled. Um, so there's no indication Robert Frost was a Mason, according to an article I read. Where did you hear he was a Mason? Um, I always just know the path less traveled poem. That's about the only one I know of his. Because I don't pay a lot of attention to poetry, not as much as I should. But I'm grateful for Maria's poems, that's for sure. Oh, well, there you go. Did you pick one vegan, and which one did you pick, out of curiosity? So I've never seen. I've been to over 1,000 Masonic events all around the world. Never seen cannibalism. Never seen reptiles. Never seen satanic rituals. Um, so I guess you can take that for whatever it's worth. Oh, now we're getting super religious, and I'm not the person who can speak to that. Um, APP, though, it sounds like you have some very misunderstanding ideas of what Freemasonry is, probably getting them from online. So there you go. I don't know any over 1,000, over 1,000. I mean, I've got over 3,000 subs and it keeps growing. I'm not a Christian, but there are many Christian Freemasons. Um, right? Freemasonry is not a religion. We have men of all different faiths and beliefs and backgrounds. We're going to be ending. I keep saying we're going to be ending this stream shortly. It's been a lot of fun, but I do have to end this stream shortly at some point because I'm still going to get some food, get some rest, be back up and streaming tomorrow. So, I mean, I understand you may have heard that, but it does not have ties with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not sure what you mean by the secret society. I'm a Freemason. I believe in Freemasonry. Um, I mean, I don't have to believe in it. It exists. I believe it's a force for good in the world. Yes, I will eat the Tabasco spaghetti, and you deal with it. Um, you have to just live with it, sir. I'm gonna film myself putting Tabasco on spaghetti. That is an issue, Drumpel. That is an issue, and welcome to the internet. For better or worse, the internet is one where people do that all the time. Um, Hello, tinfoil hat mirror, tinfoil hat wearer. Please hit like and subscribe. APP. I do not know what critic Illuminati in universe is. Freemasonry is not the Illuminati. They're separate organizations. The Illuminati is was formed by Adam Weishaupt in 1776. It is not Masonic. Math is fun though. No, no, you are wrong, Jason. Ketchup on hot dogs is not good. Under no circumstances is it good. I tell you this stream. So, my supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through geometry. That is my God, or at least my supreme being. I'm not a big fan of the term God because I think that has too many religious connotations. Music industry is not Illuminati. Illuminati haven't really existed. Numbers don't lie. Pythagoras would have agreed with you on that one. and many Greek philosophers, many mathematicians as well as many mob bosses when they're checking the numbers at the end of the night. Oh, I love oysters. Oysters with Tabasco sauce, that is the bomb. That is so good. Believe me. Well, I mean, here's what I'll say about that vegan for the animals. Or no, sorry, no. X. I would need to know more about what Nikola Tesla meant when he said they came from God, because um, one really interesting metaphor I discovered for that was Stephen King. He talked about the process of writing, and he said he doesn't feel like he creates his stories, but rather he uncovers them, that they already existed, they came from somewhere else, and he's like an archaeologist, and writing is his way of excavating the stories. And I think maybe that's what Nikola Tesla meant, right? He might have been crazy, but he did a lot of incredible things as well. Maybe there's actually a little bit of a connection between those two things. Who knows? That's not an excuse, though. I think a lot of people have this idea that, you know, my mental health issues give me some type of perception or special perception, which is not the case. You need to be really careful about that, and you need to seek help if you're struggling mental health issues. It's the same way a lot of writers will say their substance abuse issues make them better writers or better artists, and that's not the case. It's the thing that's actually hurting you more than helping you. Whatever I listen to Justin, I mean, I don't know who Justin Mayans is, but Justin Bieber is awesome. I love Justin Bieber. Um, he's great. I am a believer and proud to be a believer. So I really liked Love Yourself was a great song. Sorry, Mistletoe. So what can I say? Fibonacci sequence, that's a example of the rational nature I worship, or at least I consider to be my supreme being. I don't know if I'd use the term worship precisely, but believe in certainly. Um, I think it is God's. I think it is my supreme being's fingerprint, without question. And I'm grateful for that fingerprint because it makes lets me know that the world does make sense. The world can make sense. I can perhaps in some ways understand the world, and that's something I'm grateful for. So, so yes, is what I'd say to that. So I mean, in terms of mental health issues, you got to be more specific. I think everybody has mental health challenges, whether they're diagnosed, undiagnosed, severe, not severe. And I think we could all benefit from talking to somebody sometimes. There's no judgment in going to therapy. There's no judgment in talking to people. There's no judgment in support systems that you may need. So, yeah. But our Masonic rituals are not satanic, nor are they Luciferian. I don't know. Maybe I actually was joking, but I might actually do spaghetti with Tabasco sauce because I literally have spaghetti in my fridge right now. And I think there's Tabasco sauce in there as well. So maybe that's what I will have to eat. Who knows? You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. So maybe life is a little bit crazy. Well, I definitely believe that the world can appear chaotic, but I believe there is a structured order to the universe. Now, people are a different story, right? God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. That's another way of saying the universe may be great and beer may be good. I don't drink myself, but people are definitely not always rational, or at least not always acting in rational ways, which is a really fascinating thing, right? One of the cool things about that is trying to better understand people, understand how they're acting can be incredibly, I think Freemasonry does give you some tools for that because it forces you to think how others think, right? Because if you're trying to do, for example, if you're the worshipful master of a lodge and you have a whole bunch of other people in the lodge who have disagreements, you need to figure out how to resolve them. So, I love chocolate peanut butter cookies as well. What is the Continental? I don't get what that is. Freemasonry does not have a, like, Freemasonry has elite and not elite people. It has, I don't even know what elite means. Every Mason matters, whether you're a plumber or the prime minister. Um, oh, that stuff sounds really good as well, tinfoil hat. You're all making me hungry. It's like you want to end this stream early. Well, we'll be ending it soon anyways. We've done 3 hours. It's been a blast. And we've still got more streams coming up tomorrow. Make sure if you're subscribed, you have your notification bell turned on. That's really important because it will help you find my, whenever I'm doing something new, it'll help you find my channel. So I don't know what that is. I mean, I would rather nobody is doing cannibalism at all. I mean, I think different, if you get desperate enough, certainly, like the Donner Party, but I did do the marathon earlier. We watched The Long Walk. I talked about why I think it's Masonic. Then we watched Angel Reprise and Angel Epiphany. Both were awesome. I loved all three. And I talked about how much I loved them, um, and why I love them in the description. I mean, I have my aprons, which I could show, but I mean, beyond that, I have all my Masonic coins and regalia and pins, which I could show as well, which would be really cool. But I've done a stream of that before, so well, vegan, it's the lesson, it's the ethics of it, it's the idea of brotherhood. You think about it. So have you seen The Long Walk, vegan? Right. The whole premise is you start walking, you have to keep walking at a pace of 3 miles an hour. And if you fall below the pace, you're killed. And the one person who can keep walking as long as possible without falling below the pace wins. The logical thing to do, the you would think the logical thing to do would be to go it alone. All men go for themselves, right? And you don't help anybody or support anybody or make friends with anybody because it's going to hurt to have to lose them eventually. In fact, McBride says that at one point, right? He says, they say you shouldn't make friends on the long walk, but they do make friends. And what do you see? The brothers or the people who make friends with one another actually end up lasting the longest. If you consider the long walk as a metaphor for life and how far you walk being a metaphor for your lifespan, the people who make friends, who form brotherhood, actually last longer and do better than the people who try to go it alone. And it's counterintuitive, but it actually follows with life. Those of us who make friends, even though we recognize and understand we will lose them, even though we understand that we're going to have to deal with the pain of losing them, we still end up living longer lives and better lives because of those friendships that we make. You even see it with McFreeze when he talks to Garrity and he says, the one thing I never had was a brother, right? And at the end, when he picks him up, being a brother to my brother. Brotherhood matters. We see it. It helps us live longer and live better, even at the cost of losing the people we care about. And it pushes us to go further than we would otherwise. Also, Freemasonry does have elements that are meant to remind us of our mortality, remind us of the times, that we're not going to be around anymore. I don't give into specifics. Within, Freemasonry, within the Long Walk, you see people, they're Asian, they're black, they're white, they're First Nations, they're indigenous, they're different ages, they're different backgrounds, they're from different parts of America. And yet once they realize, hey, we're all on this path together and all but one of us are not going to make it, suddenly those things fade away. It stops being about race or religion or where they're from or their accents or the languages that they speak. It becomes the recognition that we're all on this path together and we all are brothers, right? And that's what Freemasonry teaches as well. Once you get to a certain point, it stops mattering, and hopefully never get to a point where you learn it the hard way. But very quickly, it doesn't matter what your race is or what your language is. What matters is we're on the path together, so let's support each other. Um, so the Masons were never a front for the KKK. Some Masons were elected officials, some were not. Tinfoil hat wearer, I'm trying to do this for a living, so please do a super chat. We do not do human sacrifices, APP. I mean, it's unfortunate that she threw it away. I mean, some people put the Masonic symbol on a pocket knife. It happens, right? Um, APP, Freemasonry is not Jewish. There are Jewish Freemasons, but there are also Muslim, Christian, Hindu, and Sikh Freemasons as well. Um, right? Freemasonry is not to one specific religion or one specific belief. Nor should it be. That would be not what Freemasonry is all about or what Freemasonry should be all about. I hope I answered your question well. You do not, I mean, you can take the knife to the lodge, absolutely. Just show it to them. They may want to keep it. It may be, something they can put in a display case. So that would be really cool. And, I always suggest, though, your grandfather's experience should be a lesson. If you're a Mason, any items you have, you need to put in your will exactly what you want done with them. Because you can't expect the family to know, right, necessarily. So you need to keep that in mind. I mean, infiltrated. I mean, people would join multiple groups. Back in the day, there was this derisive term for people who joined like a million different groups. It was called bury the joiner. And it's absolutely possible that you had people who were part of the KKK and Freemasonry. I would suggest they're part of the KKK. They didn't understand the lessons and ethical teachings of Freemasonry. But, well, I mean, whatever type of, if it's a knife with a Masonic symbol on it and you want to, you don't have to, but you're certainly welcome to return it to the lodge and just offer it to them and say, if you're interested in having this back. No, I don't believe in purity of genes, period, right? Of any, like, no. No, no, no. There's no such thing as purity of genes. I'm not a fan of that at all. We're all equal. We're all sons of Adam. We're all brothers of the dust. And we're all partakers of the same nature. We all share in the same stock and have the same hopes. We want to be happy. We want to live, right? So the idea of there's genetic purity is basically eugenics, and I'm very much opposed to that. Not, I mean, famous in Masonic circles, like famous in locality, but I guess Damien Sandow would be the most famous Mason I've ever met. He was a professional wrestler, which is awesome. I mean, that's on, the fact that he gave them to you and he left them to you, that means you can do with them whatever you want. If you want to keep the knife as a keepsake of him, you can. If you want to return it to the lodge as a gesture of goodwill, you can do that too. Shaquille O'Neal is a Freemason. Many projects you will find Freemasons, constitutional and otherwise, but you'll also find plumbers and all sorts of different people, and elks and moose and Rotarians, right? Shaquille O'Neal was made a Mason on site. I do not believe in the third eye opening. I do not believe in aliens. I do not believe in reptiles. Okay, well, construction, yeah, you'll find, I mean, by definition, you'll find Masons there because they're operative Masons. They're people who work with stone, right? So, absolutely. All right, we're going to end this stream, but I will be back on at some point tomorrow. Just make sure you have a notification bell turned on. That way, as soon as I'm back on, you will know it and you'll be able to find me once again. No, we're not working against Christians. We're not working against any religious faith. Only if I can be in your will. But first, I need some money to leave behind. So do some super chats. Help a brother out. All right, guys. Thank you so much.